Hey, glad to have you with us. We're here to help you once again break down your fantasy lineups, who to start, who to sit, who to trade, who not to. And waiver wires, a lot of them run tonight. A lot of leagues got Wednesday nights still going. Some of you already have those waivers in. We're going to help you figure out who's worth chasing, who is not. And we're going to answer all your questions live on air, as we always do. And then, of course, all latest reaction to the news. And it's not always good, but let's get this one out of the way with. We are going to spend a lot of time worrying about the status of the 1.1 in most leagues. Number one running back in fantasy is supposed to be Christian McCaffrey, but that can't happen if he doesn't play. So here's the deal. You already know, especially if you have him, he didn't play in week 1. And the latest is he is unlikely to play, or I don't think he's officially, it's too early, officially doubtful, but to me, sounds pretty doubtful. And then, of course, in classic Kyle Shanahan fashion, they're trying to throw all this subterfuge. In McCaffrey himself, he's like, yeah, I'm good. I think I could play. Let me out there, coach. And it's like, okay, come on. Okay, he's not playing week 2, is he? There's no way.
I mean, at this point, I don't know. I would guess probably not. But I think on the plus side, there was like a report, I don't know where it came from earlier this morning, that they were considering putting them on IR. And Kyle Shanahan like squashed that and said, no, that's not happening. So I do feel fairly confident. I don't want to like get too confident here, but I do feel like fairly confident that if he doesn't play this week, there's a good chance we see him in week 3.
The tricky thing here is that all they can do for this is rest. But how much rest? When do you know, like, okay, yeah, we're good. We've rested enough. Now let's go out there and play football. Like, how do you know? And here's my concern is re-injuries. He goes out there and it turns into something worse, or at the very least, we'd be like, okay, we need more rest now. So being back out there week 3, week 4, whatever, doesn't make everything just, copacetic. So that's the thing. And look, we got a lot, and I know we're going to get a lot more trade questions. What do I do if I have CMC? I mean, the obvious thing is pick up Jordan Mason, but not everybody who has CMC could do that. So this is the tricky thing, is we don't really know exactly when CMC, but even again, it's not just a matter of, okay, when does he come back? When is he playing? Is he really going to play the rest of the season without any issue? That's the real tricky part of it. So, guys, I hate to say there's no blanket answer. Yes, trade CMC, or no, keep him. It really depends. I mean,
well, let me ask you this then. Let's say you have CMC in a league, and you get a really good offer for him. Do you just take it right now? And by really good offer, I mean like maybe not like Tyreek Hill plus or CeeDee Lamb plus, but maybe you get something like AJ Brown plus a decent RB2, like, I don't know, a Najee Harris or something like that. Or like maybe even like
can we make it like Ramondre?
Okay, you get AJ Brown plus Ramondre for Christian McCaffrey. You get a deal like that. Do you just say, okay, fine, I don't even want to deal with it. Just give me AJ Brown and Ramondre, or do you still like say, hey, I believe that when he comes back, he's going to be, a monster, and I'm going to wait.
And I'm assuming again that this is the CMC owner who maybe doesn't have Jordan Mason, right?
Right. You don't have Jordan Mason.
Because if you have, and again, I can't just say blanket statement like, okay, well, if you have Jordan Mason, you keep CMC no matter what. Not necessarily, but anyways, I know I would consider it. Let's start with that. I would definitely consider it. Now, I'm not as eager to move on as I am with, I don't know, let's say T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, anybody who's a Bengal. By the way, anybody who's in that league with me, the Endgame League here, they're on the trade block. You want to come get them. Yeah, I'm a little concerned with that whole situation with CMC. We're really we're kind of in limbo right now, aren't we? It's
Yes. But I
it's a
mean,
tough.
are we worried now, like even when he comes back? Because it's Achilles tendonitis.
Right. That's what's scary.
Yeah. So are we worried now that when he does come back, maybe he isn't full Christian McCaffrey because they want to be careful with him? And I don't mean full like performance wise. I mean like maybe they say like, hey, maybe we don't give you as many touches. Maybe we try, because again, the 49ers are playing for the Super Bowl, right there. That is their only goal this year, is to win a Super Bowl. Like everything else is a failure. So I don't know. I think if it was me and somebody offered me a trade like AJ Brown and Ramondre, or Garrett Wilson and I don't know who's somebody else kind of in that range, maybe a slight tier above Ramondre, somebody like James Conner.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson and James Conner, something like that. I think I might just cash out. I might just say, like, you know what?
Do it.
Good enough. If he comes back and he stays healthy all year and he dominates, oh, well, I blew it. But, like, I mean, think back, like, how often do we see a guy hurt before the season starts, unable to start the season, not sure when he's going to play, and then eventually come back and be totally fine with like no issues the rest of the year? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think if like, I'm not saying, cash out on the cheap, but I'm saying if you can cash out for something where you feel at least you get one like stud type player and then a nice, decent complimentary player to go along with him that can help your team, I think I might just do it, honestly, and just not deal with it.
I can't say I wouldn't do the same. And of course, it depends on the players specifically, but you feel good enough about it. And I think at the very least, unless for some reason, I mean, I doubt that if you drafted CMC that you also have two really good running backs, you just are totally fine starting the rest of the season. Maybe you do. Yeah, I would need at least a really solid running back as part of the deal for the most part. But yeah, I can't say I wouldn't do it because the risk for re-injury, can come back and bite you. I would like to think that they wouldn't put him back out there. Look, they're 1-0 without CMC. What do they get? The Vikings next week, right? It's the Vikings. They're probably going to be 2-0 without CMC. Yes. So what's the rush? What's the rush, right? Really? I mean, I think the perfect scenario here is he misses a couple weeks, gets back to as close to 100%, and then everything is as it should be. But it's not always that simple. So, right. Yeah, I'm not trading him just for the sake of trading him, but I'm also not holding him just out of sheer stubbornness. So we'll see, guys. I mean, it always depends on trades, but we'll see what happens there. Now, also in the news for injury-related reasons, tomorrow we got our first game of week 2. It's the Dolphins and the Bills. And I guess good news, Devon Achane did get some practice in today, but he's going to be a game-time decision, which also is interesting because Raheem Mostert is not going to play. So it's like if Achane does play, you might like him even better, but he's not a sure thing to play. So what do you do with Achane here? If he is in, is he a no-doubter still?
I think so. I mean, I think if we hear something tomorrow before the game, and I don't mean like he's testing it out in warm-ups to see how he feels. I'm saying like, tomorrow it's like, hey, yeah, he's going to play. He's in, he's good, he's going to play. I think you got to still roll him out because, yeah, no Mostert. Sure, Jeff Wilson probably going to, take the Mostert role, but do we expect Jalen Wright to take the Achane role in week 2? I don't think so. So I just think he has way too much upside to keep on my bench. Now, if it's something where he's out there before the game and he's testing it out and he's not sure and they're looking at him, the trainers are looking at him and they're like, I don't know, then I might get a little more nervous because it's like, well, what if he goes out there and the first time he touches the ball, he comes limping off the field and you never see him again the rest of the night. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But I think for the most part, if he's good to go, I'm playing. There's just too much upside not to.
Yeah, again, I can't imagine a scenario you drafted Achane pretty early. You have another running back you really feel that much better about or as good about? Probably not. If you do, sure, go for it. But for the most part, yeah, I got HN and he plays, I'm playing him. So, yeah, Jalen Wright, look, again, I don't think anything has changed this week as opposed to last week. He's still just a stash because even if Mostert and HN both get scratched, how many carries you really expect Jalen Wright to get in this game? Against Buffalo, let me remind you, it's going to be less than 10, I would imagine, if even. So, stash, sure. But don't go crazy. I mean, if you haven't already gone through waivers, don't set your wallet on fire, just to get a guy like, oh, he's the Dolphins running back. Yeah, sure. I want a Dolphins running back, but I want the guy who's actually getting touches,
Right.
So stash still a good pickup if you have room, but you're not dropping a very valuable piece of your roster just to get him. Don't expect much on Thursday. All right, and then I don't know if we really have an update except Puka. We know Puka Nacua is going to be out at least 4 games because of the IR situation. Doesn't mean he's coming back in exactly 4 weeks, right? Because it all depends on how his knee responds. So, of course, we're still going to get questions. Is this a buy low window for Puka, or is this just best left avoided?
That's a good question. I mean, I want to say a buy low, but it's got to you have to have the type of team that can withstand potentially 5, 6, 7 weeks without Puka. We don't know, right? Like if you have a wide receiver room where you look at it and you're like, hey, I feel good enough about my wide receivers, they can get me by for the next potentially 7 weeks. And then when I get Puka back, I'm absolutely stacked. Okay, sure. But if Puka is if going out and getting Puka means you're gonna take a big hit in your wide receiver room, because the team trading Puka is probably gonna want some type of wide receiver back to replace Puka. So if that means your wide receiver room is not very good, and Puka doesn't come back for 7 weeks or whatever it might be, not really worth it. Not really worth it here.
Probably not yet. I would say it might be smart. I know you think whoever's got Puka is needing help, right? They want to do a deal now because this is the beginning of his absence. I like to wait a week until they really kind of feel that loss a little bit more, and they're like, okay,
right.
I have I don't know, like, well, I drafted Keon Coleman. Let me see what he does, and he does nothing, or they're like, yeah, this isn't going to do it for 4 more weeks. The desperation starts to sink in a little bit more. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, I need to upgrade. Like this isn't going to do. So I'm just saying you think the buy low window is open the most at the beginning, but sometimes it's not. You wait a little bit, and then that buys you a week also of time where a week sooner that he comes back. But again, I'm only buying if it's low. Very low, because there's also risk for injury here. Aggravation is exactly what happened in the first place, right? He had this pre-existing injury from the preseason, and it flared up right in the first game. So it's not a short bet. So definitely for Puka, I'm only buying if it's low. All right. And we do have questions, by the way. We were talking about these trade questions. We got them. And before we get too backed up with the questions, let me remind you a couple things. First of all, Underdog, you can get those free picks in right now. In fact, we talk about the new customer specials. How about us veterans? How about the ones who have been Underdog since the jump? You already have your Underdog account. If you haven't checked, maybe you didn't get notification, I got this midday, you get a free pick too, not just for new customers. So if you already have an Underdog account, then go ahead and use this free pick. It's CeeDee Lamb, 0.5 total yards. Take the higher. Now, if you are new to Underdog, or you're about to finally become an Underdog customer for the first time, you get this free pick, CeeDee Lamb, that everybody gets, and you get the new customer special, which is free pick of Josh Allen, just getting 1 yard on Thursday night. So take advantage of this right now. Josh Allen, go higher because you get that free pick. And you can also use the CeeDee Lamb pick. You can't use them together because that would be a little too free, but you can use them separately, and that's actually probably better for you because then you get 2 chances to win with a little gimme there. So if you're new, if you haven't tried it out yet, all you got to do is use this code. It's ENDGAME. When you first sign up, go to underdogfantasy.com, go to the App Store, Play Store, download Underdog. And when you first sign up, they're going to ask for a little promo code. Put ENDGAME because it gets you those free picks, but also there's a deposit match of 50% up to $1,000. So the very first time you put money in your Underdog account, they're matching half of it all the way up to $1,000. That means a lot of money that you're getting for free, potentially, depending on what you put in there, plus those free picks. So it's a perfect time to try it out if you haven't. And I also have to remind you, because we're now about to answer your questions live. And been answering your questions all day because a lot of you have already downloaded the app. It's called DraftLane. You can ask the very same questions, start, sit, waiver wire, who do I pick up, trade questions, other questions. I got a couple of rate my team questions still. What do I do? Any moves? You can ask whatever you want. Basically, that's what I love about this app. It's the flexibility, not just all the features that it has, but you can actually just chat directly with us. We'll chat back. So it's called DraftLane. Go to draftlane.com. You can see more information there. And it also will take you, if you click on download, to App Store, Play Store, wherever it is that you download your apps from. And again, the DraftLane app is completely free. So check it out and see everything that it has to offer. But for right now, we're going to get to the questions that you guys have already started with. And if you are new, if you haven't joined our live streams before, you're just not sure how it works, we're going to try to answer as many as possible the next couple hours. We will do the super chats first because that's what that feature exists for, right? Definitely want to guarantee that you get your question posted on here and that we answer it. Use the super chat feature. We will answer plenty of others too. We also got some members. People got the YouTube membership. And so we got to give a shout out to our guys, starting with the very first one, of course. That is Anthony, of course.
What's up, Anthony?
How you doing? And Juice 420. Got a very interesting one here. All right. Got a lot of Deontay Johnson panic questions as well. Just on DraftLane today, I got a couple of people asking, do I drop Deontay Johnson? Generally, the answer is no. Dropping Deontay Johnson for Alan Lazard, I'm not doing it, but apparently somebody did. Yeah. It's too soon.
Yeah. Too soon.
I mean, like, I get it because I mean, you're like, this is the same team we saw last year. They looked no better than they did last year, but it's only one game.
True,
it's just one game.
Right? It's only one game, and like, I've posted this in the Discord before, even before the season started. I posted this like, I'm pulling it up, my slow computer. But if you look at last year, after week 1. Your top scoring wide receivers were Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Jacoby Myers, Stephon Diggs, Kendrick Bourne, Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Puka Nacua, of course, Chris Olave, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Doubs, Tutu Atwell was a top 15 wide receiver in week 1 last year. Like, do not get caught. Like, look, maybe Deontay Johnson ends up being a bust, but when you have a guy who we drafted at a certain spot for a reason, and we have a guy that was not drafted for a reason, it's generally not a good idea to overreact when something different happens for one game of football. Unless there's a situation like Puka last year where like Cup is out or something like that. But this isn't that situation. Right. This is not that situation.
Right. Exactly. And that's a great point again to bring it up. You added or put in a claim to add certain players and drop certain players. Take a close look to see what else was going on from the other teams. Look at who, not just your league mates picked up, look at who they dropped.
Yep.
Because you might be surprised. All right. We got another question here. Speaking of the Panthers, how did we get here? How did we get here? Daniel Jones because he gets the Commanders, or Bryce Young because he's not Daniel Jones?
I mean, I sadly have to go Daniel Jones. At least he gets the Commanders. At least he runs a little bit. I know Bryce Young ran in that touchdown, but that's pretty fluky.
Garbage time.
Yeah, very garbage time. I'll go Daniel Jones, I guess. I mean, this can't really be your decision, Juice. This has got to be you like semi-trolling us, right?
Well, I'm assuming this is super flex. It's got to be super flex. Yeah, I actually would go Jones too. All right, first super chat was to Abhimanyu Singh. Welcome back. As always, 12-team PPR. Shall I get one or more of Eckler, Bigsby, Bucky from the waivers and drop one or more of Benson Corum?
Yeah, I think Bucky's the guy I want. I would probably rank him Bucky, Bigsby, Eckler. Because Eckler right now is just like slightly better Justice Hill, I guess. Like meaning he's going to probably catch passes every game, whereas Justice Hill will probably only catch passes when they need him to catch passes, which won't be very often. Yeah, and you can probably, I mean, you can probably, if Austin Eckler is still on your waiver wire, I'm guessing nobody is running out to pick up Blake Corum or Trey Benson. So, yeah, you could probably drop both those guys for Bucky and Bigsby if you want.
Yeah, it's fine because these guys are all sort of in similar situations. They're rookies who are, well, not Eckler. Okay, I think I can just ignore Eckler. Bucky and Benson and Corum, all rookies. Bigsby, a second-year player, feels like a rookie because he barely did anything last year. Backup running backs with a path. So might as well go for the guys who are actually getting touches now. Sure, you can do that. You can swap them out. All right, Python is in the house. He wants to rate this team, and should he be trying to upgrade at RB? It's a 10-teamer PPR. Burrow, Tua, JT for Javonte, Singletary, Chase Brown. Got Jordan Mason. That's nice. JJ Waddle, Smith, Pittman, Holden, Deontay, Pitts, and Cowboys.
All right, 10-teamer. Maybe an 8. I mean, you got JT, Jefferson, Waddle, Smith, Pittman. Like, your wide receivers are pretty good. Running backs are so-so. Again, we're going to have to... I think this is something we're going to have to address next offseason, specifically for people who play in, like, 8 or 10-man leagues, to where you just need to attack those drafts and just... It's got to be starting lineup first, then bench. Because I don't unless you can start Jefferson, Waddle, Smith, and Pittman every week, you really don't need to, wait on running back that long in a 10-teamer. That being said, do you need to address running back? I mean, I don't know if you need to. It wouldn't hurt, but I don't know if I feel like you need to. Like Ford is serviceable. Singletary is serviceable, I think. I still think Javonte will be okay. Not this week because it's the Steelers. But I still think Javonte will be okay. But, yeah, for a 10-teamer, I'm going to say an 8.
I mean, ideally, unless, the worst happens with CMC, you're probably not starting Jordan Mason beyond next week, maybe another week. So, ideally, in a 10-teamer, you have a more solid RB2, but Ford should be fine unless the Browns really are just that bad all season, which I don't think so. And then Javonte, I mean, you can mix and match RB2. Your receivers are strong enough. This can get you by. So like you said, I don't think you need to do something at RB because I don't want to trade one of my strengths at receiver, just to patch up another one. Weakness at RB2. So I think you're fine. But yeah, it's like an 8. I mean, maybe if I had any confidence in Burrow, it'd be higher, but I don't. Now this is interesting. the casual contender. Speaking of the Bengals, after analyzing the defenses and the Bengals' offensive performance, if you can call it that, seriously considering starting Baker Mayfield over Mahomes, would that be a mistake?
I'm curious what you saw when you analyzed the Bengals defense that is scaring you off of Mahomes. Because Jacoby Brissett wasn't good?
Yeah, if anything, I'd be pretty disappointed in the Bengals defense.
Are you just worried that maybe he's just worried, he or she is just worried that the Bengals offense will be so bad that the Chiefs just won't throw it? They just won't throw it that much.
Well, I will say this. I think there's definitely room for Pacheco to have a big game, right? The running game should work for the Chiefs. But come on, since when did the Chiefs just say, we're going to sit back and run the ball? We don't need to pass this game. Like, that's not Andy Reid's MO.
No.
Ever. I don't know.
Look, Baker Mayfield might outscore Mahomes again, but I'm still starting Mahomes over Baker Mayfield if it's me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mahomes is one of those guys I don't even care what the matchup is. I'm just starting Mahomes. So I like Baker Mayfield, my top streaming option, waiver wire option, but that's if I don't have Pat Mahomes. So
right.
Look, I'll say this. In a pick'em, underdog, pick'em, take the higher on Baker Mayfield, sure. DFS tourney, go Baker Mayfield because he's going to be cheaper than Mahomes. But not my redraft fantasy line. Let's see. So Dan, what's up, Dan Fuller? Got a couple of questions. He's actually asking here, which I don't know if we can help in this. He's saying, yeah, we know you've been here for forever. What's the star on the subscriber, like the YouTube membership thing? How do you do that? I don't even know.
I think it's down below. Again, we're on the, I don't know, to be honest, but I think it's, I don't know if it's on here, but maybe on one of the videos, there should be a button down below. I think it says join. I could be wrong. They might have changed it. I don't know. YouTube's always changing stuff, but there should be a button somewhere underneath the videos that lets you do it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, but somebody here can probably ask. Maybe Anthony can help you out, or somebody who we're about to get to. Okay, so here's his question: Pickens and Javonte for Amari and Chuba.
I think I'm taking the Pickens and Javonte side. I mean, I still have hope for Amari. When I looked into it a little more, he actually got really good usage, and he did drop a touchdown, which should have been a touchdown. So I still think Amari will be okay, but I also think Pickens will be okay. I don't think Chuba Hubbard is going to be okay. Bandit.
Well, which is funny because at the end I noticed he's saying, should I accept for Coop and Hubbard to make my RB room better? I don't think getting Chuba makes your RB room better. So I like Amari, and I think Pickens Amari is pretty close. It's comparable. I'm still a little bit higher in Pickens. I'm a Pickens fan, and I think I'd prefer still slightly Javonte to Chuba, just because I know Chuba's. I actually was disappointed that Miles Sanders even got involved. I didn't think he would be. He was. So Chuba, not just okay, they were behind all game. He didn't look good, but he wasn't a workhorse. So I would prefer the Pickens side, I think, unless you really are big on Cooper. I'll be big on Cooper when Jameis Winston takes over. Notice I said when, not if.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of members, here's a member. Other John needs 3. Ayuk, Monty, Olave, McLaurin. So who sits?
I think Terry's got to sit for now, unfortunately. I know a lot of people are victory lapping David Montgomery, but I think they're victory lapping a humongous L. He had one more carry than Jahmyr Gibbs in a 4 quarters of football, and he had exactly none of the goal line carries because they went to also Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs was one of the highest, had some of the best running back usage this week, and David Montgomery had like mediocre running back usage. And the only reason he even dominated in overtime is because Dan Campbell said, well, we gave him the ball in the first play, ripped off the big run, and we just said, oh, let's just ride it with the hot hand. Like, it wasn't like, oh, it's overtime, let's give the ball to Monty. No, I really, really think it's actually shocking to me that no one is talking about the usage in this game. Like, Gibbs' usage was incredibly better, and he was coming off a hamstring injury. It's only going to get worse for Monty. But that being said, how good can we feel about Terry McLaurin right now? McLaurin sits, sadly.
So you're sitting, even though it's a PPR league, you're sitting McLaurin instead of Monty because of the matchups. Or you got to wait. You got to see more from JD.
Yeah, I got to see. I got to see more from this offense than, like, I will say, like, he was open for a deep touchdown, and Jaden Daniels, the guy I've been hyping up for his deep ball accuracy, overthrew him. So, but look, it was Jaden Daniels' first game. Okay, jitters, whatever, I'll get that. But outside of that, what is this offense? It's like, snap the ball, quickly look at your read. If it's not there, run. Like, you know what I mean? Like, until we see the staff get more confidence in Daniels to where they let him, spend more time in the pocket and go through his reads and let plays develop, it's going to be tough for Terry. I'm not saying like the season's over for him. I think right now, I'll just hope Monty scores again this week.
Yeah, I mean, he always has the potential to score. They're at home. Tampa's defense, nothing special. I really thought they would do more quick read, where basically he just turns and fires to Terry, right? Quick outs, slants, things like that, just getting the ball out of his hands. But this is the one concern we have with Daniels. Sometimes holds the ball too long, and it's either deep shot or take off and run. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I think you do need to give Terry more time. So there you go. So it's the first three then. All right, and then this is a quickie from John. Drop Gibson. I think that's Xavier Gibson, the receiver for the Jets, or Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson.
All right. Yeah, either way, yes, you can do this.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson is definitely droppable. Yes.
Who do you prefer right now, Tank or Irving?
Irving, because again, I do feel like at some point pretty soon he's gonna, like, I still don't think he's gonna take like the full backfield over. But I think he's gonna get a lot of the early down run pretty soon here.
Yep. Agree there. Okay, Vinny, also the membership, fellas. In the 16-teamer, you rolling out Caleb in start number 2, or your favorite Derek Carr?
This just feels like a Derek Carr bus week. On the road against the Cowboys, just threw 3 touchdowns. Like, this just feels like a Derek Carr 4-point game coming. But man, I mean, how can you roll with Caleb again after last week? Like, again, I still believe in Caleb this season. I still believe he will be good. But the circle of trust has been broken.
Yeah.
But there is no circle of trust with Derek Carr. So
he was never even invited into the circle in the first place.
Yeah, the circle of trust was broken a long time ago with Derek Carr. I'm just gonna go Carr. I will say one encouraging thing with the Saints offense, and I talked about this a lot in the offseason with Clint Kubiak. They ran the most pre-snap motion of any team in week 1, and that is a good thing for passing games. So if I got to choose, I guess I'm rolling with Carr. Oh, that was hard to say. It's hard to say.
Well, I am rolling with Carr in a super flex league because I had Jordan Love. Carr is my third QB. Why not? Hey, he's got good weapons. I mean, Olave is there. Shaheed, dump it off to Kamara. So I think Carr should be fine. The thing with Caleb Williams, it's also going to take some time, just like with Daniels, but also Odunze now, probably not going to play. Keenan Allen's not 100%. Yeah, it's going to take definitely beyond this week for him. So I'll go Carr. And then he's got a couple others here. Let's do this 10-teamer for Vinny. Harrison, Waddle, Hollywood, Olave, Godwin, Pittman, Hall, Mason, Ford, Gus, Spears needs a flex as well.
Okay, so are we doing, I'm assuming these aren't all your flex options. I'm assuming this is your entire team. So are we doing 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think it says anywhere else. Let's just do that.
All right. Well, this is a team where I don't need to start Marvin Harrison this week. You got Waddle, you got Godwin. I feel good enough about them. I'm starting them. At running back, of course, you're starting Hall. If CMC is out, I'm going Mason. Otherwise, I'm going Ford. And I don't feel good enough to flex one of those running backs. I'm going to flex Olave. I know he was a disappointment last week, but that game was so weird, right? Like right off the bat, big touchdown to Shaheed, then touchdown to Moreau, then touchdown to Jerron Johnson. And then they didn't need to do anything the rest of the game. It was like 30 points in this, you know what I mean? They didn't need to do anything in the rest of the game. And I saw a stat today, Chris Olave, his yards per route run versus when there's pre-snap motion and there's not, is like 3 times better with pre-snap motion. I really still believe Chris Olave is going to be great this year. I'm rolling with him in the flex.
Yeah, and the 10-teamer, I'll just say with these options, you don't need Harrison. Even if Hollywood plays, you don't need to play him. I mean, it's definitely Hall and Mason at running back because I'm pretty sure CMC is not playing. I'll go Waddle, Godwin, Pittman. Going to give Pittman the slight edge. Don't love his matchup either, but I think I like it a little bit better than Olave's. It's between those two, but all very similar options. Broseph also got the membership. In pretty desperate need of a QB. He says Fields or Cousins are his options. CMC owner has Mahomes. Is it worthwhile to give him Mason and Fields for Mahomes? Okay, that's not the direction that I thought this was going to go. If you can get Mahomes for those two, you got to do it.
Yeah, so he asked this earlier in the Discord, and this was right when somebody had posted that Christian McCaffrey might go on IR. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this if Christian McCaffrey's going on IR. Like, you might have an RB1 for the next 4+ weeks or whatever it is. But now that sounds unlikely. So, yeah, with CMC not going on IR, you probably should just take Mahomes.
For these two, I would do it. Yes. Because, again, CMC's not on IR. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know what he's going to do, but I don't think. I mean, you said they got squashed, right? They basically said he's not going on IR.
Well, okay.
Right now.
You got to understand it's Kyle Shanahan who squashed it. So it could be some Shanahanigans. How do you say that? Shanahanigans? What is it?
Shanahanigans.
Yes. But he's the one that squashed it. So.
Yeah, well, I still do it. I think you're getting good value there. All right. And then Boomer. Sir Boomer. Not feeling great about Amari Cooper. Options are Ladd, Hollywood, Deontay, and Lockett. You stick with Cooper this week and see what happens?
I'm sticking with Cooper. So I saw another stat today about Cooper and Deshaun Watson, pressure versus no pressure. And in his time in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, when he's pressured, is absolutely horrible, and he doesn't target Amari Cooper that much. But when he's not pressured, he's good. But also, Amari Cooper is very good when Deshaun Watson's not pressured. And one thing about the Jags, even though they do have, I think, an underrated defense, they didn't get a lot of pressure on Tua in that game. So I feel pretty good about Cooper this week, actually.
Considering those other options, I'd stick with Cooper. Ladd is fine. I mean, he scored a touchdown. I score every week. And more floor than anything. I can't trust Hollywood yet, of course. How good can you feel about Deontay Johnson? And I saw something about Lockett, patellar tendonitis or something like that, just when you thought he was going to be like the number one. But anyways, I just stick with Cooper too. And then he also wants to know.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to play and get like 7 targets for 4 catches, and like be the leading receiver. Talk about Lockett.
Yeah. I'm not yet, but possibly going to regret buying into the Seahawks. But anyways, worth it to dump the Chiefs defense for Indy? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, look, maybe Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a team we stream against all year, but why wouldn't I stream? Like, there's no defense I have to hold. It just isn't.
Right. The Chiefs are a good defense, but for fantasy, fine. Okay, we says, hola. 10-team PPR. Got this team, but here's the question is, got an offer to get George Pickens for Jerome Ford.
PPR, who are your running backs? Mason, Gibbs, Justice? Oh, that's Tyreek Hill. Okay. Mason, Gibbs,
Monty,
Aaron Jones, Ford. So you got Aaron Jones and Monty. I mean, who are your wide receivers? Hill, Waddle, Neighbors, Rice, Brian Thomas. I mean, look, I think in a vacuum, I prefer Pickens to Ford, but like, you're not playing him over Waddle. You're not playing him over Hill. Maybe you play him over Rice. Maybe you play him over Neighbors. I mean, but maybe, right? Maybe. But this is going to leave like when CMC comes back, you're only going to have Gibbs, Monty, and Aaron Jones at running back.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm wondering though. I mean, I still think if Aaron Jones is healthy, he's pretty much a solid RB2 most weeks. Monty can always start for you any given week. These guys are both basically going to be bench players for you. I'm going Pickens anyways, but I like Pickens because of the higher weekly ceiling.
Yeah, no, I mean, like for sure, Pickens is worth way more than Jerome Ford. I'm just looking at the team here. Like, does Pickens help your team? That's the thing.
Pickens always helps your team just by being on it.
I mean, look, you're getting the better value here. So if you want to take Pickens, take Pickens. Like, you're for sure winning. You're for sure. Well, I shouldn't say for sure, but you're probably winning this trade. I will say, for as bad as the Browns offense seemed in week 1, Jerome Ford, according to fantasy points, third highest expected fantasy points among any running back in week 1.
Yeah, that surprised me when I saw. I was like, how? Like, I didn't even get to try to run the ball, but I guess he was involved. I mean, they obviously played way below expectation in general, but that was all Watson. It wasn't the running game. Anyways,
right.
Yeah, you can do this. All right, Eric Sanchez. Let's get to the super chats now. Full PPR should I drop? Assuming Javonte Williams, and pick up Charbonnet since I already have Jaleel.
No, again, it's too soon to drop these guys. And Charbonnet is just a handcuff. Look, it's going to be a rough week for Javonte this week. It just is. They're playing the Steelers. They got Bo Nix. The offense is going to be horrible again. But Charbonnet you're only going to really get anything out of Charbonnet. I mean, I know he caught that touchdown, but it was like the Broncos forgot he was even on the field. He's just like over, hey, look at me. I'm just standing here all alone. Oh, here you go. And he ran it in like that. That's not going to happen maybe ever again this year. So Charbonnet is just a guy you're only going to start if Kenneth Walker is out. So yeah. I'm still holding Javonte Williams here.
Yeah, I would even just keep Javonte here, despite the fact you already have Jaleel. Well, then at least you got the guy. And I will say Audric Estime just kind of out of nowhere went on IR. So no competition. Estime was the best runner technically out of the 3 and only had like 2 carries, but he at least got yardage. Neither Broncos running back was good, but at least they're getting touches. And then also he's asking, picked up Wright to stash. Good idea. Pick up Jeff Wilson. Nah, especially now that Achane is possibly playing. I don't think so, right? We're not rushing out to pick up Jeff Wilson, are we?
I mean, if you're desperate at running back, because what if Achane is out? Jeff Wilson's going to get touches. He's going to get a lot of touches, so...
Yeah, I really hope you don't have to start Jeff Wilson in week 2, but I guess if you had CMC and Achane, and then your RB3 was like Javonte Williams, maybe.
Okay. What if you went 0 RB in a 14-team Superflex league and your running backs are Gus Edwards and Devin Singletary?
All right. If that's the case, which I really hope not, then you could.
It's one of my teams.
That sounds like you're speaking from experience. All right, Frosty, pick 2. Oh, 2 running backs And the flex, Etienne, Najee, Ford, Godwin. Who sits?
I still think you got to roll Etienne this week, and I think you got to flex Godwin in PPR. That's a must.
Yeah.
It's
Najee or
PPR. I'm gonna, even though I do like Najee this week, I'm gonna give the edge to Ford because again, 7 targets last week. He's gonna give you that PPR kind of boost. Najee, I mean, still like, okay, yeah, he was the workhorse, but 20 carries for 70 yards. I mean, he'll be better this week for sure because it's the Broncos, but what? 20 carries for 80 yards this week? Maybe a touchdown? I'll probably go Ford over Najee.
Yeah, I think, I agree. Definitely start Godwin, stick with Etienne. When there's two guys that are very similar, I feel like neither of these guys really, particularly inspires me this week. Lean to the guy who's probably going to get more touches, which should be Ford because Jalen Warren barely was involved last week because obviously coming out the injury, he might actually be more involved this week. Ford is still the guy there, so lean Ford. Alex Snodgrass Real Estate. Welcome back, Alex.
Right.
Standard. Alex? Pick 2. Cook, Jacobs, B-Rob.
Ooh. I like all these guys, actually, but I think I got to go Cook and Jacobs. I mean, Cook is the guy in Buffalo. I know the Green Bay offense may not be great, but Jacobs is going to be the guy there. He's going to get everything. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get the receptions. Like, sure, Emmanuel Wilson might be sprinkled in, but that's it. Do like Brian Robinson this week, but I don't think I can start him over those two guys.
I know. There is a thought where it's like, well, no Jordan Love. Maybe they're going to get crushed. And Jacobs is risky because he could get stuffed because they could just put like 11 guys in the box and, just dare them to pass. I don't think it'll be that bad. But then Jacobs could get 25 carries. And just by sheer volume, he could get more receptions. This is what I'm hoping if I have Jacobs is that he becomes maybe their biggest target in this game because they don't want Malik Willis throwing it down the field too much. So I got to start Cook. I love B-Rob this week, and you'll see that when the Boom video comes out. But I agree. I think you might go with Jacobs because even though, while it's standard, you're not getting those receptions, but he'll get more receiving yardage. That's still an advantage for you. Antoine is always in the house. Cannot start Marvin Harrison Jr. To teach him a lesson. I love that. I have to admit, I do this as well. It's the teachable moments here. You gotta light a fire under you guys on your fantasy lineup. Starting Waddle and Devontae in front of him.
I mean, yeah, when you got Waddle and Devonta, I'm not starting Harrison Jr. either.
Right. I'm not starting like Demario Douglas to teach him a lesson over him, but yeah, you can do this. All right. But Antoine's got another question now. What about Etienne? Sell now while his value is probably still what it was pre-draft, or hold?
Well, I'll always say what I always say. If you can sell for a good return, sell for a good return. And you don't even have to worry about the risk of like, okay, is Tank gonna continue to get as much work as him or close to as much work as him? So I mean, I don't know if you're looking for another. See, the problem is, like, if you're looking for another running back, if you want to do a running back for running back swap, who are you really going to trade him for that you feel better about? That also somebody would actually do the trade, right? Like, sure, if you could get Jahmyr Gibbs, you'd feel better. But is anybody trading Jahmyr Gibbs for Travis Etienne right now? I hope not. So, that's the issue here. Is like, now if you're like, hey, I already have Saquon and I already have like 2 good running backs, and you want to get a wide receiver for him, sure, go for that, because that could, you're like, I need wide receiver help, but I don't think you're going to get a better running back for Etienne right now.
Yeah, and again, you never know. people are panicking about Derrick Henry. People are panicking about, HN because he's already hurt. You never know. So if you can get something comparable, sure, do it. I'm okay selling Etienne, but as long as you get comparable value. Austin Hicks, sit one. Waddle, Devontae. I mean, we know what Antoine would do here. Are we sitting Harrison to teach him a lesson? I think I said it many times.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, when you have those kind of options, you don't need to it's fine. Sit Harrison. If he goes off this week, if they force feed him like 10 targets and he has a great game, fantastic. Now he's back in your lineup every week and you don't have to think about it. But you have good enough options here where you don't need to sit through another week of him getting, one catch or something.
And not to get too deep into this because we got a lot of other super chats, but Harrison, what we heard from Arizona, Kyler was like, well, I do what they tell me. It didn't sound, nothing that we heard from the Cardinals, media is making it sound like they're going to make a big effort to get him the ball this week. Like they're planning. It's going to probably take some time. So yeah, I'll sit Harrison. Okay. Luis Rodriguez. Thank you, Luis. Here's the question. This is non-PPR. Has Purdy got CMC, Jacobs, Connor, Moss, Kupp, DJ Moore, Watson, Kittle, Kyler Murray. Dropped Moss for Mason. I think that's a good move. Definitely good. You have CMC. Wondering if he should have kept Moss or picked up Godwin.
Nah, even if CMC comes back this week, I'm not going to feel bad that you dropped Zach Moss for Jordan Mason. I mean, okay, he scored. He's going to be, he could always score. Any running back who's getting in an NFL offense and getting a decent number of touches could always score on any given week. But really, what else are you getting from Mason outside of that? No. I mean, from Moss outside of that. Nah, you're good.
You're fine to drop Moss. You definitely did the smart thing to get Mason. The last part shocked me. He says pick up a wide receiver like Godwin. So Chris Godwin is just on waivers. Is that correct?
Yeah. Pick up Godwin. I would probably drop Purdy to get Godwin. You have Kyler.
Right. Exactly.
Drop Purdy and get Godwin.
You're not sure why Godwin is not owned, but if Godwin can be picked up, pick him up and you start him this week. You should start him over everybody at receiver except for Kupp. Kupp and Godwin should be your starters. So
yeah.
All right. Well, good job so far. Yeah, make that move too. Steven Drakes. Should I trade Mason and Nico for Breece Hall?
Yes. Give me Breece Hall. I mean, Nico looked good. And Mason, of course, will be good for however long CMC is out. But give me Breece Hall. I mean, yeah. Give me Breece Hall for sure.
Yeah. I do this
and
too.
honestly, right now, I would prefer Breece Hall over CMC. Breece Hall's healthy. Breece Hall got all but one running back, all but one touch. Braylon Allen got one touch. Every other opportunity went to Breece Hall. He is the definition of a workhorse. Yeah, get Breece Hall.
Yep, I would definitely do this. A couple others here before we get to the super chat. Let's do this one. Dallin Taggart. Would you trade CMC for Mixon and Dell?
No, I don't think this is enough. I know people are going nuts for Mixon right now, and I do really like Dell. I think Dell is gonna be great, and I think Mixon's gonna be fine. I think Mixon will be fine. I don't think Mixon's gonna be a bust or anything. But I don't like. This is probably the best game you're getting from Mixon all year. So yeah, this isn't enough for me for CMC.
Agree. I know it doesn't sound very smart to say I was not sold on Mixon, down on Mixon after he was like the best runner in week 1. Mixon obviously is fine. But come on. He's not going to put up CMC numbers this year. The only person who could put up CMC numbers is CMC. So Mixon is solid, but I agree, not enough. I still don't think he's going to be an elite fantasy running back all season, right? Again, it was week 1. He probably won't do that every week.
I saw a stat where he had, I think, like 101 of his 150 yards were after contact, and that was his best game since like in that sense since like 2019 or something, like, or 2000, like okay, he had a great week 1. Nothing, don't take anything away from him, but like,
right.
Just going to Houston, suddenly he's like, he'll be fine. He'll be fine, but he's not going to, like, this is probably the best game he's going to have all year.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Carl Williams does have a CMC related trade question here. The CMC guy won't bite on my Mason offer. He wants Harrison. So flip the script and see if I can get CMC for Harrison. Interesting. Would you do that?
I mean, yeah, if you have Mason, yeah, give me CMC. Give me CMC.
Yeah, why not? I think that's worth it.
You got Mason. Yeah, you have Mason. Take CMC.
All right, and then John M. This is a 12-man PPR. Got Stroud. Connor, yes, Mostert is out. And then we got Justice Hill, Chase Brown, and Charbonnet. Okay, I hope we have good receivers. We do. Tyreek Hill, CD, Olave, Pickens, Hollywood, Sutton, McBride. All right, so with this, let's face it, thin running back room, but good receiver room. Call it like it is. Trade Olave for a combination of B-Rob and JSN.
Nah, I need more than that for Olave. Yeah, I need more than that. I need like if I'm gonna get a running back for Olave, probably need like to be a running back like I mean, it might be hard to get Kenneth Walker right now, but maybe, I mean, even James Conner might feel to be James Cook. He didn't have like a huge week 1, but he got the opportunity was there for him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You need to probably upgrade your running back room, and you're right, John. But yeah, I'm not out on Jason. It's too early. I think Jason could be good, but try to get a slightly better running back than B-Rob. I like B-Rob, I really do. But yeah, I agree. This isn't quite the right deal.
Right.
Stephen Cotto, praying that Jalen Wright doesn't get picked up. Okay, who should he drop? None of those guys. Let's see. Flowers, Kincaid, Moore, a kicker, a defense. Okay, Caleb Williams, Josh Downs, Rome.
Caleb, you can drop Caleb. You have an Anthony Richardson. The only time, first of all, nobody's rushing out to pick up Caleb Williams after last week. And really the only time you're going to start Caleb is if Richardson is on a bye or gets hurt. So my guess is Caleb will still be there for you if you want him. Like if something happens to Anthony Richardson this week, you'll probably be able to go get Caleb Williams next week. So yeah, you can drop Caleb for him.
Right. I mean, it's not like a hard fast rule that you should never have a backup quarterback, but with Richardson, Caleb probably will never start over him, and it's going to be a while before he really is worth having anyways. Frizz Ill, Dortch or Eckler for the flex.
I mean, is there a difference between these guys? Other than one's a receiver, one's a running back? I mean, they both get short little passes. They both have a PPR floor, but probably no PPR ceiling. I will say, when you look at the Rams on Sunday night, they did a good job against Amon-Ra St. Brown, who plays a lot of his snaps out of the slot. Greg Dortch plays a lot of his snaps out of the slot. I don't know. I'm gonna go Eckler. I just don't. Greg Dortch. Ugh.
Maybe slight edge to Eckler because he can get rushing yards hypothetically still and receiving yards, and they play the Giants. I mean, look, I know they're not going to necessarily completely change what they did in week 1. All of a sudden, Harrison gets 10 targets and Dortch doesn't get any, but maybe Dortch gets a couple less because they're tired of hearing about all that. Let go Eckler. All right, Rodney Woods. What's up, Rodney? Not such a great draft this year. Well, let's see. Rate this team. Help with the lineup. Okay, so you got Tua and Goff, Saquon and Henry. That's good. DJ Moore, Diggs, Odunze. Tight end is Juwan Johnson. Okay, the flex is Monty. Got Gus Edwards, Bateman, Dobbs, Higgins, Pierce, Marshawn Lloyd.
Well, Higgins being hurts. Like this team would look a lot. This team would look a lot better if it was DJ Moore, Diggs, Higgins, Odunze, instead of DJ Moore, Diggs, Odunze. So let's hope he's back. He probably won't be back this week, but let's hope he's back at some point.
This explained. I even thought this. I didn't see it, but he justified this later. The Juwan Johnson. He had Njoku. Okay, he's out, and he's asking should he put in a claim for guys like McConkey or Freiermuth. I mean, Muth, Juwan.
Yeah, you should. I mean, you could put in a claim for McConkey. I mean, Freiermuth is fine. I probably prefer him over Juwan Johnson. Like Juwan Johnson, even though he scored it, well, it was really weird. Like you look at like the routes for the Saints in that game. Juwan Johnson only ran 42% of the routes, but Foster Moreau ran 30% of the routes. Like,
yeah,
why is Foster Moreau out there so much? So, yeah, I might just take Freiermuth over. I mean, Johnson's got more touchdown upside, I guess, because the Saints might actually. Although, like the Steelers, it's the Broncos this week. I might go Muth, but yeah, definitely get McConkey.
Yeah, I would rather have McConkey than Pierce. You don't need to have Alec Pierce. So go McConkey for Pierce. Go Muth over Johnson. As far as rating this team, I mean, look, let's assume another week maybe Higgins is back. Okay, so Higgins, you still don't have like a number one receiver type. You got 2 number 1 running back types, so that's good. Assuming it's 12-man PPR. Okay, so it's 12-man PPR. I figure it's still like an 8.
You're generous.
I'm assuming Higgins is back and good, and Njoku comes back and it's better.
True. I'll say like 7.75.
All right. Keep making those moves on the waiver wire, doing the smart thing. All right. Jordan Olson. Can't believe he's asking, would you go Etienne or Ford because Mason is a lock?
I think you still got to go Etienne. I still got to go Etienne. He should have had 2 touchdowns in that game, and he's still the guy catching the passes. So if he's going to get the goal line carries and he's going to get the receiving work, he still has plenty of value. I'm still going Etienne over Ford.
Yeah, this week I'll stick with Etienne as well. We'll see what happens there. Ethan Ingram. Would you trade Mason to get Pollard?
No. I know Pollard was good this week, but I don't know. I'm not. Well, I mean, I don't know. If you don't, oh, man, this is so tough because it's like, what if you trade Mason for Pollard and Spears does start getting more work and CMC does, it's another week where they're like, yeah, not this week. And it's another week where they're like, yeah, not this week. Still not ready. And you're like, I could have been rolling out Mason every week as like an RB1 every week. And instead, I got Pollard here.
Does this depend on whether you have CMC or not?
Well, I mean, yes. If I have CMC, I'm definitely keeping Mason. 100% I'm keeping Mason. If I don't have CMC, then I can more easily part ways with Mason. But again, I don't know if Pollard's the guy I want. I know everybody's all excited about Pollard. He had a great week 1. Because everybody who has a great week 1 is going to have a great week 2 through 17 as well. Because that's just how it works. Even though that's rarely how it works. I think Pollard, like, yeah, he'll be fine this year, but I don't think Pollard's going to be like this every week. So, I mean, I guess at least, I mean, CMC should come back at some point. So Pollard will be there all year. I guess. I don't know. This is like, as you can see, I'm wrestling with this.
You're taking a gamble on either side. I would say, I feel like if Mason has another good game, even if it's not as good, if he has another good game, you should be able to get more for him next week than Pollard. And I think in some leagues right now, as we've seen from some of these trade offers, you can get more for him. So I feel like Pollard maybe isn't enough. So I'm holding on to Mason because then you also have that insurance. What if CMC does miss several weeks, whatever? You're going to be wanting Mason instead of Pollard. So for me, I think that Mason, the potential for Jordan Mason is too much to give up for a Pollard. If I can get like a Kenneth Walker, somehow a Derrick Henry or something like that, yeah, I'll do it. But otherwise, I would just hold tight. What about this? Kyle wants to know, assume start sit, Mason or Stevens?
If CMC is out, I'm going Mason. He's in that San Francisco offense. Stevenson, yeah. Well, he'll be fine, but Mason has way more upside.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll get to Brian's in a second. This one, James Joseph, appreciating the shout out, was on live, and we found out when it happens. Y'all were telling us the CMC was out because you found out, able to go and pick him up first come first serve. There you go. That's
nice.
That's why we do this every night, especially on game nights. Tomorrow we're going to be sweating Devon Achane. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
All right. Brian Babulik offered a trade today. Don't have any backup tight ends. Okay. Kyron and Jordan Mason for Ford, B-Rob, and Laporta.
No. There's got to be a tight end on the waiver wire you can just stream this week. I mean, Kyron Williams, the no doubt workhorse for the Rams. Oh wait, so you're getting Kyron and Jordan? Am I reading this wrong? You're getting Kyron and Jordan Mason. And you're giving up Ford, Brian Robinson, and Laporta.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Okay, so he put this in the chat earlier. I think it says the same. Let me see if it's any different. But yeah, we want to make sure. He's saying he doesn't have another tight end, so it makes it sound like he's giving Laporta away, right?
Yeah, but you're also giving away two, Jerome Ford and Brian Robinson are fine.
Okay, this is...
Okay.
I received a trade to give up Laporta, B-Rob, and Ford, so he would be getting Kyron and Mason, and he has CMC.
Yeah, I'm taking Kyron and Mason. Laporta's going to be fine, but that's the thing. He's just going to be fine for a tight end. I don't think you're going to be happy you drafted Laporta in round 3 this year. And I think Brian Robinson and Jerome Ford will also be fine, but give me the stud Kyron Williams and give me the CMC. Don't have to worry about it insurance with Jordan Mason. You basically are getting 2 RB1s because now, for however long CMC is out, you roll with Jordan Mason. And then when CMC is back, you roll with CMC. So, yeah, give me the Kyron Jordan Mason side.
Yeah, you're massively upgrading at running back here to, give up a tight end. Yeah, I know. Laporta was the tight end one last year. Not convinced he'll be it this year. We already saw Jameson Williams starting to break out. Yeah, I would do this. All right. The Murison family trade Diggs to get Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm taking Ayuk here. I talked about the Diggs usage. I mean, yes, it's great that he got 2 touchdowns. That definitely matters in fantasy. But, I mean, less targets than both Nico and Dell. Way less air yards than Nico and Dell. And look, Dell also got an end zone target. You can't be living off of touchdowns only all season. And Diggs will still have other weeks where he'll have weeks where he scores touchdowns and he's fine, but you can't be living off 33 yards and 2 touchdowns every week. You know what I mean? So And I just think that's the player that Diggs is now. He doesn't have that vertical game anymore. He's still good on those in breaking routes, those intermediate routes, but he doesn't have that vertical game anymore. So Ayuk just got the worst game out of the way, right? Coming back from the hold in or whatever it's called and playing sauce. I'm taking Ayuk.
I mean, Diggs will always have touchdown upside, but on weeks where he doesn't score, you might be a little disappointed. So yeah, I'm going Ayuk for sure. Short season. Thoughts on Kyler for the next couple of weeks?
It's funny. It makes me laugh that somebody with the name Short Season is asking about Kyler Murray.
Yeah, probably not a coincidence.
Maybe the problem is Kyler Murray couldn't see Marvin Harrison over the line. I still feel like Kyler Murray. If I have Kyler Murray, he's just locked into my lineup every week. I don't worry about it. He's got the rushing upside. I like him this week against the Rams. That Rams defense not very good. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm still in on Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to move off of having Kyler as pretty much if you got him, you start him type of player. And you're talking about the schedule next couple of weeks. So I'm looking at the Rams this week. Looks like they get Detroit in week 3. I mean, you think that's a really good matchup, but wait, week 4, guess who they get? It's Washington. Kyler Murray should be a top 5 fantasy quarterback the next 3 weeks. Now in week 5, it's at San Francisco. Maybe not, but you could still start him. So yeah, Kyler is a set and forget. And then we buy homes near you.
Hey, what's up?
512. Welcome back. Which is, again, ironically kind of near me. Non-PPR. We need a flex here. Got Hurts, Jefferson, Drake, Brees, Etienne, Keenan, Reed, Smitty, Monty, Pollard, or Dobbins. And remember, non-PPR.
Yeah, so I'm definitely flexing one of those running backs. Who did I can't remember. Who did the Titans play again this week? Titans play.
I don't remember.
I know we talk about it every day, and then I forget the Jets. All right, Lions get the Bucks. Also a pretty good run defense. Dobbins does get the Panthers. Am I doing it? I don't know if I can put Dobbins in over those guys yet.
Is the answer Monty?
I mean, Monty probably has the best chance to score behind that offensive line. But I feel like Pollard might get more usage than him. But it's non-PPR. I'm going to chase that touchdown. I guess Monty.
I think given the matchup, not great for Pollard. Who knows if Spears actually touches the ball this week. Monty just always a solid flex in non-PPR. Let's go to Big Al 9. In standard also. Drake or Godwin?
I think it's got to be Godwin in all formats right now until we see something from Kirk Cousins and this offense that, hey, like, we're not a mess. Godwin should be really good again this week.
Yeah. Not out on Drake London after 1 week, but in on Godwin. So, yeah, this matchup, you go Godwin. And then Jeff Joyner, straight up, pick up Jeff Wilson.
I mean, I would pick up Jeff Wilson if I needed Jeff Wilson this week. I wouldn't pick up Jeff Wilson just to see what he does on Thursday. Like, if you're not going to start Jeff Wilson, even if like Achane and Mostert are out and you're like, well, it doesn't matter because I have better running backs than Jeff Wilson. No, you don't need to pick up Jeff Wilson because what if Achane is back next week? And what is the Mostert injury even? I haven't even heard. What is his injury?
A chest injury.
Okay, so not like a knee or ankle or something. Like, what if he's back? Like, what if they're both back next week? It's like, well, okay, you're not even going to start him. But look, if you're like, hey, I'm desperate at running back. Like, I drafted CMC and then I waited forever for my RB2. And so now my 2 starting running backs are like Gus Edwards and I don't know, whoever. then yeah, sure, pick him up, but only if you need him this week.
Right, which really hope you don't to start a guy like that in week 2, but you never know. Yeah, exactly. Look, Mostert, from what I read, this is a thing where he's out just because it's a short week, and next week, really good chance he's back. Achane still might even play. He's game time decision. He's not been ruled out, so Achane's probably not going to miss next week because again, short week this week. That means they got longer time to rest before next week. So for the most part, you shouldn't need Jeff Wilson. Jalen Wright's different. You stash him for the later part of the season in case there's an injury. All right, we got Max Bilowski. Would you trade Lockett and Tank for T. Higgins in a 14-team league?
I think I'm still making this move for T in a 14-team league. I mean, Lockett, what are we getting from Lockett? And then Tank still, even if you told me, okay, Tank and Etienne are going to split the carries, Etienne's still getting the receptions. Etienne's still getting the goal line work. What is that? How valuable is that really, right? So I'm still taking T here and hoping he gets healthy sooner rather than later.
Well, I'm going to disagree here, and I'm back out on T. Higgins, but also I will say this: I think Tank, it's a good time to get him. I think he'll be fine. Lockett, you think you shouldn't have to start him, but since it's a little bit of a deeper league, I think it's nice to have that extra playable option there with Tyler Lockett because you don't necessarily want him as one of your top receivers or a flex, but you never know when you might need him as a flex. But mainly, I'm just kind of done with T. Higgins. So I think you can do this if you're deep enough at receiver already. I don't know. I'm getting rid of my Bengals. I'm just done. Israel Lopez traded Puka for Zay. Was that a mess up?
It might be. I mean, I like Zay Flowers, but I don't think I like Zay Flowers over a potentially healthy Puka. So, I mean, we'll see if this is a thing that really affects him long term, and he comes back and re-aggravates it. You're gonna be like, yes, I'm so glad I got Zay Flowers. But even if he comes back week 8 or 9, but he's full go Puka, then you're going to probably regret this. I know it's hard to think that way now. Hey, week 8, that's so far away, but trust me, in week 8, you're going to be like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, it could be one of those things where for the next month, you're happy you did this, and then you're suddenly not happy that you did this. But It's almost impossible to say with injuries because we don't know exactly when he's coming back. And here's the real tricky part is we don't know, is he really going to be 100% when he comes back? And re-injury is always, that's what I worry about is he's back and then all of a sudden he's out again. So, at least I will say you got a good receiver in return. So it's not like I don't think it's going to completely screw over your season getting Zay Flowers. But we'll see how it goes. Now this might be considered a mess up. Joe took advantage of somebody who decided to drop Ingram to get Likely.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
I'm telling you, always got to look at the waiver wire after waivers have run to see who got dropped. All right. Now, before we get to the next super chat, we're still catching up. Hang up with us, guys. We're still, if you super chatted anytime in the past hour, we're still going to get to your questions. We're just catching up here, but I know a lot of you weren't necessarily here at the very start. So do need to let you know that you got time to take advantage of this, whether you're new or not, if you already have an Underdog account, or you're going to sign up for the first time because you keep hearing how awesome it is. It is. You get this free pick, CeeDee Lamb. Just go higher than 0.5 total yards. If you already have an Underdog account, go check right now. You can take advantage of that. I haven't had time yet, but as soon as we're off of here, I'm going to go put in my pick to make sure I get my free pick. And I know you will too if you haven't already. So free pick, CeeDee Lamb, getting a yard, but if you haven't tried Underdog yet and you're new, you want to sign up right now, you get another free pick, and that's Josh Allen just getting 1 yard, and that's on Thursday night. So again, lock this in right now. Just sign up, go to Underdog, download the app, and when you do first sign up, make sure you use promo code ENDGAME. That gets you those free picks, but also up to 1,000 bonus cash deposit match. So go ahead and check it out right now. All right, but we still have a lot of questions to do here, so let's keep doing it. And for those who don't know, maybe you're joining us for the first time, we're going to answer as many as we possibly can with the time that we have. As many of your questions, start sit, waiver wire, trade, anything, football related, of course. And the super chat feature is there, so you can skip the lines, your fast pass. So let's get to those. Trent Thompson. Here's his 12-team full PPR squad. Got Dak and CD, Rashee Rice, Achane, Connor, Kittle, Flex, and bench players.
All right, so are we rating this? Let's see, it's 12-team. Lamb, Rice, London, or we Reed. Am I flexing Reed over London this week?
Risky.
It is risky, but so is London.
I don't know. Philly's defense wasn't too scary last season or last week. I think I might give London a shot and then risk the 0 from Reed because of Malik Willis.
Yeah. They're both very risky this week. Lamb, Rice, Achane, Connor. Obviously, if Achane is out, I would go, I guess, Gus. He does get the Panthers. He could score. Go Gus. Kittle, kicker, defense. All right. Are we rating it or just giving him like start sit advice? I don't know.
I think, yeah, be prepared. Achane might sit. Go Gus. I would keep London in there. Quinn is back. Desperate already. All right. It's too early. It's a little early for desperation, isn't it? Sit or start. QB, 2 receiver, 2 running back, 2 flex, half PPR. Fields. I would go Fields over Geno. Any other pickups better than Fields? So here's who he's got. Well, don't know who's available. I mean, I'm assuming you watched the waiver wire video. Do we need to make any moves here? Should he be desperate?
No, you definitely should not be desperate in week 2. No. That's how you end your season early. I mean, if Geno's the best guy on waivers, then probably just roll with Fields. Geno not feeling Geno this week. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be Nico. Boy. I guess Nico and Marv. Your running backs are going to be Brees and I guess Zamir. Guess I'm and flex Terry and hope for the best.
Would you even consider D-Rob over Terry at the flex?
I don't think possibly. I can do that.
That's a little.
I like D-Rob this week, but at the same time, I don't think I can put him over Terry.
Yeah, that's a little. That's reeking of desperation, I think.
Yeah, that is.
Your team could get better as season. I know you had a bad week 1. Don't give up. Marv should be pretty good this year. Terry will get better this year. So, yeah. Andy, would you consider dropping Burrow to get Baker? And who do I start, Goff or Baker? So we got a lot of quarterbacks here.
I'm not dropping Burrow for Baker. I'm not there yet. I will start Goff over Burrow this week if you want to, though. I think I'm fine with that.
Well, I'm not dropping Burrow. I'm trying to trade Burrow. I am actually. And actually in that league, it's funny. Last week I picked up Stafford, not knowing Puka would get hurt. But he was still fine. And that same league, I dropped Stafford to pick up Baker. And I am going with Baker over Burrow this week. Full transparency. But I'm not going to drop Burrow. So, and then who do I start, Olave or Amari? We kind of had this before, didn't we?
I don't think so. But I do like Olave. I mean, I do like Amari this week. But I also feel like Olave is going to bounce back. I feel like both these guys are going to bounce back.
Yeah, that one's really close. Olave, Amari.
Yep.
My gut.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Olave. I'm going to say Olave.
I was going to say Amari. My gut tells me Amari, but this is almost a toss-up, isn't it? And then, look, I know Bowers caught more passes than Kelsey last week. You're not benching Kelsey yet, are we?
No, not benching Kelsey for Bowers yet. No.
You can go Kelsey still. All right. J-Dub, 8-man PPR, got London and Evans, Hall and Achane, flexing Rashad White, Walker on the bench, Ayuk on the bench, Kirk, Najee, Godwin on the bench. Okay, wow. I think we might make some changes here.
Yeah, let's go. You know what? In this case, I probably don't even risk it with Achane. Just go Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Let's go Ayuk and Evans at wide receiver. And let's go Godwin in the flex in PPR.
Well, I completely agree with that. I mean, if you have a guy like Walker, why sweat Achane? Because even if he does play, could be limited, could get injured again. Don't worry about it. Just go Walker. And yeah, I think you can start. I know some people are nervous about Ayuk. Not too nervous about him this week. So start him. Anthony got a flex question. Full PPR. Jones, Gus does play Carolina. Justice, Hollywood, if he even plays, or Sutton.
I think I got to go Aaron Jones here. I know it's not the best matchup. I mean, look, Gus, maybe against the Panthers, Gus gets 2 touchdowns. And everybody's kicking themselves for benching Gus. And this is not a Justice Hill week. And again, Hollywood coming back. We don't know what his snaps are going to be. And I know Sutton got like a bazillion targets, but like how good are all those targets if they're not catchable? You know what I mean? Like, What good are those targets? So give me Aaron Jones.
Yeah, give me Aaron Jones too. Not the best matchup, but he's still the guy there. Still looked good. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood maybe next week, but I don't think you can risk it this week. So, yeah, Jones, I think, is still a solid choice. All right, Blair Davis, welcome back again. Should I go through with this trade? Moss, Worthy, Kincaid for Connor McBride.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you're getting the tight end upgrade, and like I know everybody's all excited for Worthy, and I know he had a first good game, but Hollywood is coming back. He only got only had a 14% target share, and the vast majority of his routes were just go routes, which is what I think he's going to be. I think that's going to be his role in this offense when Hollywood is healthy. It's going to be Rashee Rice in the slot a lot, running those quick slants and stuff like that. It's going to be Hollywood running the other stuff, and then Worthy's going to be that deep guy. And like, sure, every so often he's going to get one of those deep throws, and unlike MVS, he'll catch it and score. But you can't count on that every week, so I think you're getting Connor looks really good. You're getting a slight tight end upgrade. Give me the Connor McBride side.
Yep. Upgrade there with a solid RB2 and Connor. Yeah, I'll do that. mean, I don't know that it's selling high, kind of. I mean, he's not going to score 2 touchdowns every week, of course. He'll be solid. He'll still be flex. He will always have flex upside, but it's going to be a
Right.
roller coaster. Give me that solid running back with Connor. All right, Jordan wants us to set this lineup and rate it. It's a 14-teamer. 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, and flex. Got AR and Stafford. Etienne, Ford, Mason Spears, St. Brown, DK Flowers, Sutton, Ferguson, and Colby. All right, 14-teamer.
All right, so at QB, I'm still going Anthony Richardson. Running back, I'm going to go Etienne and Mason if CMC is out. Otherwise, Etienne and Ford. At wide receiver, St. Brown and Flowers. I think I still got a flex DK. I'm not feeling a big DK this week against Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots, but I think I still got to flex him in PPR over like a Jerome Ford type or a Tyjae Spears type or definitely a Cortland Sutton type. And then tight end, I'm going, even if Ferguson plays somehow, I don't think I'm putting him in my lineup. I'm going Parkinson.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we're hearing, oh, you know what? It's not that bad. He might play. You know, he wasn't even hurt. Like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, come on. Let's give it a week. Really not a great matchup, anyways, for Dallas tight end. So go Colby. Should be fine. You're good at quarterback. You are much better now at running back that you have Mason, but still, I wouldn't say great. So for a 14-teamer, I don't know. Still, to me, this is more like kind of like a 7-5. All right. Leo Delpin. Are you trading Jaden Reed and Tony Pollard for Bijan?
Yes. Call me crazy, but I don't think Tony Pollard is going to be as good as Bijan Robinson this year. Maybe I'm wrong.
This is a good. I feel like this is a good case of selling high on both those guys. Reed and Pollard both coming off of good games. Do it right now, Leo. All right, CB420 Brown. Thank you for the super chat. I don't see a question attached or in the immediate vicinity, so we're gonna look for one. We see it, we'll put it up there. So hang tight, CB. Let's get to Keith. What is up? No, Keith's still hanging out. All right. DJ Moore, Devin Singletary, because it's the Commanders, or Drake London.
Yeah, Singletary is interesting this week, but not interesting enough to put him over these guys. I think I'm gonna go DJ Moore. Like Rome Odunze almost certainly out. Keenan Allen banged up. Caleb, I feel like has to be better. Will be better. I'm gonna go DJ Moore.
It's kind of close between Moore and London. I do think the Falcons will try to get London the ball, actually, and I think they'll be able to, but I'm still not convinced Kirk Cousins is 100%. And like you said, the injuries in the Bears receiving room kind of push it more towards the Moore side. So let's go DJ Moore. And then Apex Predator, RE4, I love that name. I got offered Neighbors for Pickens. Who are you taking?
Probably Pickens, but I'll say this. I think Neighbors is going to have a big game this week. So his value might be even higher after Sunday. So if you have so you're giving up Pickens to get Neighbors? Is that what I'm reading here? Is that how I'm reading this?
Yeah, I read it as he's saying I got offered Neighbors, meaning he would get Neighbors.
I mean, you might, if you take Pickens, you might be kicking yourself after this weekend because I do think Neighbors will be better than Pickens this weekend. But I don't think you're making a trade for this week. At least I hope you're not just making a trade for this week. So I think long term, I still prefer Pickens.
You know, I prefer Pickens. Yeah. I mean, Neighbors gets the Commanders. He does get to play them twice. But when he plays legitimate pass defenses, yeah, it might be a struggle. So, I mean, this is close, but I will prefer Pickens. John M. did secure that membership. Thank you to everyone who was helping out in the chat, by the way. All right, there you go. Well, thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you, John.
support. This tells you how far back we are. We're still getting comments about the Derek Carr circle of trust.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, let's catch up here. All right. Let's get to Andrew Oliver. Adopted 5-player keeper team. This is a 10-teamer. It's half PPR. What do we do here? Got Murray and Caleb. Got Achane, Harris, B-Rob, Pollard, McLaughlin, Diggs, Flowers, Harrison, Higgins, Kincaid, Ingram, JSN.
I mean, this team isn't that bad, honestly. You got Kyler Murray. You got HM when he's healthy. Get decent RB2s behind him. Hopefully Marvin Harrison becomes the guy we expect, and then you have an actual wide receiver one. I will say your other wide receivers, I mean, I like Flowers. Diggs is fine as like your 3. Higgins, probably fine if he ever gets healthy again. You got 2 good tight ends. I mean, I would say trade one of those tight ends, but what are their trade value right now? They combine for like 3 fantasy points or 4 fantasy points. I don't know. I mean, look, it's a 10-teamer. This team isn't stacked or anything, but I still think it's a pretty good team. You just really need Marvin Harrison to come through for you.
Right. That's it. I think it's pretty good overall. You got a really good quarterback. You can start. You get 2 good tight ends for whatever that's worth, and then Diggs, Flowers, Harrison. Yeah, I mean, those receivers, again, none of them, other than Diggs scoring 2 touchdowns, really had a big week. If you really want to, and this is a keeper league, I mean, I don't know, maybe try to move Diggs, maybe move one of those tight ends. Now, though, maybe this isn't the week to do it, but eventually move one of those tight ends for a receiver. But yeah, I wouldn't mind moving Diggs for a younger receiver. But yeah, it's just pretty good. That's pretty much it. All right, here is CB420 Brown. Mason trade for Tyler Lockett.
No. No. Like I know Lockett got more yards and catches than we expected in week 1, but it wasn't like Lockett went off. And I don't think Lockett is going to go off. And remember, DK Metcalf was getting the Pat Surtain treatment. So when DK Metcalf, isn't getting locked down by Pat Surtain, Lockett's targets and yardage and all that's going to go down. So I would just keep Mason. Yeah, you should be able to get much more. Don't do this. But here's talking about having 2 good tight ends. How about 3 tight ends here? Likely, McBride, and Bowers. Who do I drop? Do I keep them all? Yeah, the thing is, like, though, if you drop Likely, like, I don't think you could drop McBride or Bowers. You cannot drop those guys. If you drop Likely, you're just giving somebody that needs a tight end Likely. And look, I do think people are going to be a little like, oh, I dropped how much fab on Isaiah Likely this week? Why did I do that? But at the same time, like, he's probably better than most streaming options out there. So I guess if you have the room for 3 tight ends, just hold all 3 or try to trade Likely. Go to the team who lost Njoku or something and say, hey, give me something for Likely.
Yeah, this screams, trade scenario. You trade. I mean, I don't know if you can sell higher, trade unlikely. That would be wonderful. Don't know if you could do that, but you never know. And look, just trade Bowers, hang on to McBride. You're set at tight end, likely as your backup. But yeah, definitely trade one of these guys. All right, more tight end talk. Your favorite, bench Kittle for likely in week 2. JW.
No, No. Kittle's one of these tight ends. If I have Kittle, he's just in my lineup. Because Kittle's one of these guys you don't want him on your bench when he has a 2-touchdown game.
Right. Looking at the box score from last week, you wish you had Likely instead of Kittle. Looking at the box score from week 2, might go the other way. So I'm not benching Kittle for Likely. And we all can agree, I'm pretty sure, Amiibos are fun.
Okay.
PPR, Hopkins, Wandale,
or
Demarcus Robinson.
Not Hopkins. Not doing it with Hopkins. Wandale's interesting. Gets Commanders. Definitely interesting here. He actually had some pretty good usage in week 1. I mean, 11 targets. Of course, it only resulted in 6 catches for 44 yards, but it's pretty good in PPR. Demarcus Robinson, I feel like, has a better chance to score, but I feel like Wandale could catch more passes. I don't know. I just can never really get behind. I don't know what it is about Wandale. Maybe it's Daniel Jones. Never get excited about Wandale. I might roll with Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson was clearly the number 2. Almost 30% of the air yards, had 7 targets after Puka left. He's clearly the number 2 there. They get the Cardinals. I'm going to go Demarcus Robinson.
I mean, Wandale, I feel like gives you the floor here because it's the Commanders. He's already the leading target getter for the Giants after 1 week. But Robinson gives you that upside. They usually shoot for upside. So I think Wandale is fine. But I think Robinson is the better play here. But did you die? Flex spot. Terry, Zamir, Gus the Bus, Demarcus Robinson, or Hollywood?
I think if Hollywood comes back, I'm just rolling with him. Because again, I don't feel great about Terry this week. Zamir, let me see. Sure, Edwards could get 2 touchdowns. Sure, Demarcus Robinson could score a touchdown, but Hollywood's got Mahomes. It's not like he's coming back like, oh, he's going to be limited because he's coming back from like a knee injury or, risk of re-aggravating the knee like Puka or something like that. I mean, I think he's got the most upside of these guys right now, so I'm going to go Hollywood.
This is a list of a bunch of question marks. These guys are all really up in the air. Hollywood, of course, if he plays, how much and how will he look? Robinson, is he going to be the number 2 target behind Kupp? How many targets? Gus, honestly, maybe I'm just too in on Gus. It wouldn't shock me if he's the leading rusher for the Chargers and busts out against, terrible defense. All right, I probably can't start Zamir White this week. I'd be nervous. I'm usually more risk averse with injuries, so I probably don't want to start Hollywood Brown unless they say no limitations, full go, all good, get him involved, blah, blah, blah. So I might go to Demarcus Robinson still here. But Hollywood going forward will be the best one. All right, we got the Kool-Aid chemist in the house.
All right.
I like it. Picked up Parkinson. Saw somebody drop Brock Bowers. Yes.
Yeah, get Brock Bowers. Get Brock Bowers. Yes.
I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Definitely get Brock Bowers. Yeah. All right. Country Connected. What is up? 12-team PPR. Love Fields, Monty, B-Rob, Ford, Najee, Chase, Olave, Wilson, Devontae, McBride. Thoughts? And then the trade.
All right, let's see. Monty, B-Rob. Okay, this is a full 0 RB team. Monty, B-Rob, Ford, Najee, Chase, Olave. Is that Garrett Wilson? You got Chase, Olave, and Garrett Wilson in a 12-teamer?
And Devontae.
And Devonta Smith?
Well done.
Well, I'll say, I mean, of course, anytime you look at a 0 RB team, people are going to say, like, yeah, your wide receivers are good, but I mean, those running backs, like, oh, those running backs are terrible. But I think for a 0 RB team, you did well. We got to believe Chase is going to still be good. I still have full faith in Olave, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, McBride. Got full faith in these guys. As far as a trade, no, because, okay, yeah, I like James Cook, and certainly it improves your running back room. But you're kind of like giving away your advantage here, right? Like, let's say if Chase becomes Chase again, and Garrett Wilson is a first-round wide receiver, like you're just annihilating people at wide receiver, right? You're just annihilating your league every week at wide receiver, just annihilating the whole league. But if you trade Devonta and Monty for James Cook and Neighbors, okay, you get better at running back, but you also get worse at wide receiver. So, like, you got good enough running backs for a 0 RB team. They're good enough. And there's always a chance you get an RB1 off the waiver wire at some point this year. So I think I stick with what you got.
Agree. As much as I'd like to have James Cook, obviously you prefer him to Monty. I don't want to take that downgrade at receiver, the risk of Neighbors. So your team is really good. I mean, for the way you drafted, obviously losing Love will hurt you for a little bit, but you got a stud tight end, stacked at receiver. And you have 3 totally solid startable. I mean, I guess Najee is kind of that same range, startable running backs. So you're good. I think it's a very good team. It's like an 8-5 for me, and I wouldn't make that trade either. It's fair. I'll just say this. It's a fair trade, but I don't think it helps your team. Diego Antolines. PPR, 12 flex QB, Josh. All right, got Pacheco, Cook, Ford. I'm guessing Justice Hill, Rico Dowdle, and Tank Bigsby. All right. Yep. A receiver, got Amon-Ra, T, Kirk, Ladd, Mitchell Dortch, Andrews. Who to start, and would you sell Ford?
So this is a team where I might trade Ford for a wide receiver. I mean, Amon-Ra, a guy who's hurt. Christian Kirk is fine. A rookie, actually 2 rookies. Although I think Mitchell can eventually be pretty good, but I mean, yeah, you got Pacheco, James Cook. I mean, behind him, you don't have a whole lot, but if you can trade Ford, but I mean, who are you really getting? Like, what wide receiver are you really getting for Jerome Ford right now?
This might be a team where you do a 2-for-1 package. I mean, you could put Ford together with Ladd,
Right.
I mean, pretty much that's it. I don't think any running backs have trade value after Ford.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to get a good enough wide receiver straight up for Ford right now. But yeah, if you could package Ford and Ladd McConkey, and then maybe get like I don't know, somebody who was not fantastic in week 1, but still has a lot of potential, like a DK Metcalf, maybe a Pittman. Just throwing out some names here. I don't know, Olave. I still like Olave.
Yeah.
Guys like that.
There you go. So yeah, you're gonna start Pacheco, Cook. Gotta start Amon-Ra. I'm not starting T. Higgins. You already know this. I would go Kirk over him. Yeah, I would even flex Ladd over T. Higgins. Okay, all right. A-Rod. 10-team. PPR. Any trades to make here? We got Kyler, H.N. Mixon, J.J. Waddle, Neighbors, Pollard, Najee, Wright, Lockett, McConkey, McMillan, D-Rob, and Stash and Keep.
All right. Any trades? H.N. Mixon, J.J. Waddle, Neighbors. I mean, again, I don't really see any. Again, I'll say I think Neighbors is going to have a big game this week. He might not, because he is stuck with Daniel Jones, and maybe Daniel Jones finds a way to be terrible even against the Commanders. But I think Neighbors could have a big game. I may be looking to move Neighbors after this week. Like if Neighbors goes out there and takes a slant, 40 yards for a touchdown, which you could definitely do this week, I might be looking to move him. But he is really Liam McConkey. You kind of need wide receiver more than running back, so
yeah, I think Neighbors as your third receiver, it's fine, but again, this is a 10-teamer, so
right.
it's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, I think I wait till after this week, see what Neighbors does. If he goes off, maybe package him and Najee and try to get a stud wide receiver if Najee has a nice game.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see exactly what Pollard's usage is. If this winds up being a time to sell high on him, or maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's startable every week. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, let's sit on this for another week. I don't see any clear sell highs for you in this format. Malik Sanders, Olave Rice, J-Mo Waddle, Harrison Jr. ?
Okay. I have questions. What is your question? I guess I'll rank them. I'll rank them for this. I'll rank them for this week. Waddle, Rice, Olave, Jameson, Marvin Harrison. That's how I'm going to rank them for this week.
Yeah, Waddle. I mean, if you're asking who to start, you start Waddle. It should be another good week for Jameis. I know Sun God's going to be involved, and he's probably going to just eat in this week's matchup. I think I can still keep him near the bottom, though. So I go Waddle, Rice, Olave, J-Mo, Harrison. And then we go to all of a sudden full PPR Superflex. T-Law or Geno?
Jags against the Browns, Geno against the Patriots.
It's not a good matchup for Lawrence, but I still think I trust him more than Geno any given week.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like neither. I feel like the answer is neither, but if you got to pick one, I guess Geno. I mean, I guess T-Law.
It's super flex. At least we'll give him that. Pick one: Sutton, D-Rob, Ford, Zeke.
I'm going Ford. He's getting the touches. He's getting the receiving work. I gotta think. I shouldn't say that. Just give me Ford. I was gonna say I think I gotta think the offense is gonna be better, but I really don't know if it will, to be honest.
We don't know. But go forward. I think that's a solid pick. And then he's asking, drop any of these for not Tutu Atwell. Just go no to Tutu Atwell. Is that Deontay Johnson?
Is that Deontay Johnson?
So I'm wondering if it's because somebody could have dropped Deontay Johnson, but then I wonder because he's asking about Tutu Atwell, lost Puka, if he meant Tyler Johnson. If that's the case,
probably Tyler Johnson.
If it's Deontay Johnson, you pick him up, right?
Yeah, if it's Deontay Johnson, I'll drop Zeke for Deontay Johnson. But no, you have DeMarcus Robinson. If it's Tyler Johnson, no. Tutu, no. You have DeMarcus Robinson.
Right.
You're good.
All right. Joe Park. No Njoku. Goddard. Or Parkinson.
This is close, actually. But I think I'm going to give Parkinson the slight edge. Again, against the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think we're talking about two bad defenses here. Two what I think are good offenses. I'm going to bank on the Cardinals offense being better this week. So I think the Rams are going to throw a lot. I'm going to go Parkinson.
Yeah, I'm going to go Parkinson too. One of the best tight end pickups. And I mean, he already got a few targets last week with Puka out for sure. Should get a few more. Let's go Parkinson. Prodigy. 12 team full PPR. Kyler, Connor, Najee, CMC, Moss, Wright, Nico, Cup, London, Terry, Shaheed, Bowers, and likely make a move or just chill.
I'm almost always going to say, I haven't even like really digested your team yet. This is just a general statement from me. I'm almost always going to say after week 1, I'm just chilling. I'm not like actively looking for trades already. If somebody sends me an offer that I like, sure, but we don't know anything yet. We think we know. We think we got all the answers already, but we have no answers yet. So I'm generally just chilling. Now that being said, let's take a look at your team. Kyler, Connor, Najee, CMC. I mean,
the big question here is CMC, right? Does this team need to do something with CMC? Because I don't see any Mason on there.
Yeah, I mean, no team needs to do anything. Again, it's week 1. Even if you lost last week, because you probably did lose last week, right? Because you probably had CMC in your lineup, and then it was Monday night, and he's ruled out, and you're like, well, everybody's already played. All my players have already played. I can't do anything, right? And you probably got hosed because of that. So it is what it is. But it's too soon to like say like, oh my gosh, I lost week 1. I have to win week 2. Like this is it. If I don't win week 2, the season's over. Like no. You know. I mean, you got Cup. Maybe you did. Maybe you won because of Cup. Maybe you took the CMC hit, but you got the Cup bonus with the Puka injury. So I don't know. But you also got London. So who knows? But anyways, again, if you want to try to trade CMC, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but I want a stud, either like a stud running back, like a Saquon. Maybe somebody who's low on Bijan because he didn't have a monster week 1, or Gibbs plus a really good wide receiver, or I want a stud wide receiver plus a really good running back in return. But other than that, I think I'm probably chilling here.
Yeah, the thing is, and being optimistic, CMC misses a week. If he's back week 3, rest of the season is good. You're fine. You're glad you didn't make a move here. So you're good at receiver. Bowers should be good pretty much all season. So I don't see anything you have to do here. But, if you do get an offer, and I almost guarantee someone's going to try to buy low on CMC, only do it if it's you really improving your team. Right. Beast claps. Walker Pickens, one of the J. Williams. For CD, is that too much?
If it's Jameson Williams, probably too much. I mean, if you're in a league where you only start 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, and a flex, and now your top 2 wide receivers are going to be like Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb, and you already have maybe Saquon Barkley and I don't know, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm trying to think like what would be a real, like if you went Tyreek Hill in round 1, Saquon in round 2, Pacheco in round 3, and now your team is just going to be like, and then maybe your wide receiver 2 is like, well, Pickens. Let's just say it's Pickens, right? Like he's your wide receiver 2, but now your wide receiver 2 is going to be CD. Then maybe, because it makes your team like unbelievably stacked. But I think in a vacuum, assuming that's Jameson Williams, I think it's too much.
Feels like a little too much. Again, when you get into 3-for-1s, if all 3 of them are startable players, I feel like it's a little too all in on one player. And again, you just happen to pick basically my 3 favorite preseason breakout players. You know this. I've been high on Kenneth Walker since he came into the league. Love me some George Pickens, and I've been talking about Jameson Williams all preseason. So I wouldn't do it. It's a little too much. Ethan Ingram, 12-teamer, full PPR. Got Caleb, Garrett Wilson, Kirk, Brees, Gibbs, Parkinson. With Puka on the IR, should I trade for another QB or wide receiver?
I mean, I wouldn't trade for a QB. I don't know who's on waivers, but I'm fine if you want to pick up a different QB. Go see. I mean, Baker probably got added. Stafford probably got added. If they were available. But I'm generally not a fan of trading for a QB. Because the problem is most people aren't going to be like, hey, give me your bench handcuff running back for a QB. They're going to be like, oh, give me your RB2 for a QB. And then you just take such a big hit for your lineup. Or they're going to be like, give me your wide receiver 2 for an RB. Or for a QB. I feel like I can just stream if I have to. Like, is Justin Fields out there? Like, just go pick up Justin Fields this week and roll with him. And then hopefully Caleb Williams looks better this week and you can put him back in week 3 or something. Or even just roll with Caleb this week. He's got to be better than he was last week.
Baker Mayfield. I can't believe I keep suggesting it, but Baker Mayfield, maybe he's available. He might be. It's probably somebody.
Yeah, chances are, though, he got swiped up off a waiver wire today if he was available.
Yeah, but you never know. Yeah, I don't think you need to trade for a QB. Don't know who you got on the bench, but I wouldn't want to trade any of those players. So you're probably okay for now. Okay, so actually, Beast Claps did clarify because you're asking, well, who do you have? He got CMC, Mike Evans, and Monty. So again, he was giving up Walker, Pickens, and a Williams for CD.
Well,
to me, then that's definitely a no because you're down a running back already. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I like Walker enough. If it was like Walker and one of those wide receivers, sure.
Right. Okay. Joe Castles is always in the house. Got an offer for CMC. Let's see. CMC, Harrison, or Rice. Okay, so it's Harrison or Rice, one of those receivers, and JK for CMC.
Nah, that's not enough for me for CMC. Like I need a wide receiver that I feel very strongly is going to be a stud week in and week out that I don't really have to worry about. Maybe if it was like AJ Brown and J.K. Dobbins, Amon-Ra St. Brown and J.K. Dobbins, Jefferson and Dobbins, Chase and Dobbins, then okay, maybe. But Harrison or Rice and Dobbins, that's not enough.
Yeah, I think the receiver either has to be a no doubt stud or maybe better since you got CMC, Rice, and a more dependable running back than J.K. Dobbins. Like a Ramondre type, maybe. But even so, nah, I wouldn't do this. All right, Yitzy, Bucksbaum, PPR. 2 running backs, 2 receivers in the flex. Jacobs, Achane, Tyreek, London, Dell, Godwin, Justice Hill, B-Rob, Bigsby. Consider the questionable. All right. Rate this team. Is there more here? Lamar Laporta.
Jacobs, Achane, that's great when Achane is healthy. Tyreek, London, Dell, Godwin. I think that's really strong at wide receiver. This is a 12-teamer. It doesn't say. It got to be like a 10-teamer, huh? Just still Brian Robinson. Lamar. I mean, this team is pretty stacked. I mean, Jacobs, Achane, Brian Robinson, Tyreek, London, Dell, Godwin, Lamar, Laporta. I'm going to assume a 10 team, but I'm still going to say like an 8.5. This is a very good team. Very good team.
Yeah, rating this team, obviously you're set at QB tight end. Assuming Achane just misses a week. If that, got 2 good running backs, very good at receiver. Hard to say without knowing exactly how deep this league is, but this looks very good. I mean, if it's a 12-teamer, this is at least an 8.5. If it is a 10-teamer, 825. But did you die with another one? Would you pick up Tyler Johnson or Greg Dortch? And would you start one of them over Zeus?
I'm picking up Tyler Johnson here, and I don't even want to pick up Tyler Johnson, but I mean, really, Greg Dortch. Like, what are we so excited about? Why is everybody so excited about Greg Dortch?
I mean, I don't think you have to pick up either of these guys,
Right?
But if you do, are you starting them over Zamir White? I don't think I am.
No, I'll gamble on Zamir White getting more involved. I mean, Greg Dortch got you 10 PPR points.
Yeah.
And that's with Marvin Harrison like being invisible. What happens if they do like say, okay, we're gonna get Marvin Harrison more involved? Because they're getting a lot of questions about Marvin Harrison, right? You know what frustrates me about Marvin Harrison? He's not a diva like every other wide receiver. Like imagine if like Jamar Chase held out the entire offseason for no reason, barely practiced, was talking about like, I'm going to be a game time decision. I'm going to be limited, and then complained about only getting 6 catches for 62 yards. Marvin Harrison out there not even getting thrown to and I haven't heard a peep from Marvin Harrison. Be a diva. Ask for the ball for our fantasy team.
He's a rookie. I don't think he has that clout yet where he can start complaining to his quarterback. True. But that's
true. That's true.
Although Malik Neighbors didn't waste any time throwing his quarterback under the bus. Anyways, I just go with Zamir White. Can't give up after 1 week. JC, 12-team full PPR 2 flex. If he plays, you play Mason. Probably. If my lineup includes Tua, Cook, Stevenson, Sun God, Wilson, flex Rice or Waddle. Maybe Mason over Stevenson.
Yeah, Mason over. I think if CMC plays, your lineup's good as is. But if CMC's out, Mason over Stevenson. And then if you're asking flex between Rice or Waddle, I'm going Waddle.
Yeah, Mason. I mean, Stevenson's solid, but I would go Mason as well. It says 2 flex, so it looks like he can flex both Rice and Waddle, so that's good.
You're good. Yep.
Boogie, Eckler and Warren became free agents. I guess which one, if any, do you want?
I guess Eckler. It looks like he's gonna at least have that pass catching role. And I will say this about Eckler: like, if Brian Robinson goes down, I don't even know who the next man up is. Didn't they cut Chris Rodriguez?
I thought they cut Rodriguez though.
That's what I'm saying. They cut it. I don't even know who is the number 3 running back in Washington. I honestly don't even know. And I'm a Washington fan.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. True. Who is their running back 3?
I don't even
Jeremy McNichols is their RB3. No, I did not even know Jeremy McNichols was still in the league.
Did not know that.
Whereas if Najee goes down, you know what's going to happen? Cordero Patterson is going to be like the RB1 in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Give me Eckler.
Yeah, go Eckler. That way you don't have to worry about Arthur Smith. Raziel 820, rate this trade. Kelsey, McLaurin, Swift for Kittle, DJ Moore, Connor. Would get the Kittle side. Do you like the Kittle side or the, I guess, Kelsey side?
I think I like the Kittle side. I really don't think Kelsey's going to be a whole lot better than Kittle this year. I gotta prefer DJ Moore over McLaurin right now, and I definitely have to prefer Connor over Swift. So I like the Kittle side.
Yeah, I think I like the Kittle side too because I definitely like Connor better than Swift. More McLaurin. Look, by the time the season ends, this could be close, but I still think I like Moore better. And yeah, I agree. Kelsey. I know we feel like every tight end was drafted too high after week 1. I think most of them will be fine, but I do definitely think we're all going to look back and say that Kelsey was still drafted too high after this year. Mm-hmm. So yeah, go with the Kittle side. Rizzy K. Start 3, Neighbors, London, Dobbins, Mason, Ayuk. in PPR.
If CMC is out, I'm going Ayuk, Mason, and Neighbors, which is probably what's going to be the case. If for some reason CMC plays, Ayuk, Neighbors. I mean, you got to play London, right? I can't believe I'm even thinking about this.
Yes, you got look. Even besides Dobbins could be a trap, but also it's full PPR. Let's stick with London. I know it's hard to look back and say, well, London did nothing. Dobbins was great. Let's look forward. Yeah. I'll go Ayuk, Mason, Neighbors. If CMC somehow plays, which I doubt it, go London instead of Mason. Luis Becerra. Should I trade Bijan for CMC, Eckler, and Ladd?
I mean, this is essentially Bijan for CMC and Ladd. I'd probably just keep Bijan in that deal. Like, Ladd is fine. I think Ladd will be okay. Eckler is like whatever, throw in. But you got Bijan. You don't have to worry about CMC. Is he playing? Is he not? Is it like at any moment are we going to get Scott Hansen saying like, okay, we got to take you to San Francisco. It's devastating news from San Francisco. Watch Christian McCaffrey as he goes around the edge here with nobody around him. All of a sudden, to the ground he goes, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Bijan will be great. Just give me Bijan.
There's no need to take this risk on. I mean, Eckler and Ladd should not be starting for you at any point. They're not really helping you win a championship. So why take the injured running back when you already have a stud? I mean, it's Bijan. Nah, don't do this. Diddy, should you bench London or Shaheed or McConkey?
No, I can't. I can't bench for these guys. I know Shaheed had that big game, but it was one big touchdown. Now he gets the Cowboys on the road. McConkey's fine, but I'm still going London.
Still going London. Too early to give up. Yeah, I mean, Shaheed maybe, but it's a tough matchup. So don't do that. Augustin Olvera traded Mahomes Kelsey stack for Allen and Kittle. Is this a W?
I don't know if it's a W, but I don't think it's a L. Like, I don't think, like, Allen obviously still going to be fine. He's still going to rush in a bazillion touchdowns. And like I said, I don't think there's going to be a big difference between Kittle and Kelsey at the end of the year. So even if Mahomes is better than Allen by the end of the year, Allen will still be very, 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 like, I think it's just, I don't think it's a win or a loss. I think
yeah, might wind up kind of being a wash at the end of the day. I guess if you're not a Chiefs fan, I guess it's a W. I don't know. Malik Hawthorne. Which rushing quarterbacks do you like, Bo Nix or Justin Fields?
I like the one not playing TJ Watt and the Steelers. Give me Justin Fields. Yes. I like the one playing with TJ Watt. I like the one playing with TJ Watt, not against it. TJ Watt dominated that game.
Yeah, it's Fields here. Definitely go Fields. Paul Garza got JT. Are you going Javonte or Gus at the RB2?
I think this week you got to gamble on Gus. It's not a good spot. I just talked about Bo Nix. It's not a good spot. Javonte Williams against the Steelers this week. I think. I mean, look, the good news is the Broncos aren't going to get rolled because the Steelers, I don't think, can roll anybody, right? It's just like how big of a lead can you get just kicking field goals all game? But at the same time, like, again, that Steelers defense is legit. Gus gets the Panthers. He can still score. Give me Gus.
I'm going Gus, not giving up. I know he just kept running into the pile last week. Still has touchdown upside. He's still going to get carries. Seriously, every time you get the ball, he just straight ahead. Like, I know you're a north-south runner, but come on. We can actually have an angle that isn't straight once in a while. And he just ran into the tacklers. 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards. So, but yeah, I still go Gus.
Gus Edwards has as much vision as you and I.
Mm-hmm. Which is scary. Ben Helms. Full PPR, 10-man. Kyler, Mixon, Pacheco, Diggs, Jettis, Kincaid, Flex Connor. On the bench is Zeke, Ford, Baker. Maybe Javon Baker. DK, Kirk, Palmer, Hawk. All right. Should I swap Kai for Baker? Oh, I guess it's Baker Mayfield. Should I swap DK for Diggs?
All right. I do like Baker this week, but I'm still playing Kyler. Kyler gives you that rushing ability, those rushing touchdowns. I know it's a good matchup for Baker, but I'm not expecting him to throw for 4 touchdowns again against the Lions. So I'm still going Kyler Murray. As far as DK and Diggs, because again, I'm not expecting a big DK game this week, but also Diggs. I mean, again, if not for those 2 touchdowns, people would be really panicked on Stephon Diggs right now. Like people would be like, what do I do with Stephon Diggs? I mean, we're talking 33 yards.
Right.
But I mean, if he's gonna be like their goal line wide receiver, he could always score. I guess DK could always score too.
Yeah, neither has a good matchup, really.
No. I don't know. I think I still have to roll with DK. But it's not obvious to me that it's DK.
Yeah, I know it's tough. But I'll probably keep DK in there as well. Or I guess swap it. Swap DK for Diggs. That's what we're doing. And then, no, you got to keep Kyler. Look, we talk about this. Baker, great streaming option, great pickup. If you lost Jordan Love, but Kyler Murray, if you watch the quarterback tight end start to sit, which will be out soon, I think.
It's already out. Go watch it.
It's already out. There you go. Just like I knew. It's already out. We still have Kyler as a start. Must start. Just start Kyler. Don't have to worry about it. Augustin Olvera with another one. Start 2 receivers in a flex in half. Amon-Ra, Olave, Harrison, Godwin, Pollard, and Ford. So we need first 2 receivers.
2 wide receivers are going to be Amon-Ra and Godwin.
Yep. And then flex in half.
I really feel like Olave is going to have a big game this week, and people are going to have him on their bench. I know it's Dallas on the road, but I feel like they're not going to be able to hit Shaheed for a 70-yard touchdown. Like, they're not just going to be able to Alvin Kamara's not going to be able to run for 6 yards a carry against the Panthers. Like, Derek Carr's probably going to have to attempt a lot of passes in this game, and he's going to have to throw more regular, normal quarterback throws, meaning not just bombs to wide open guys down the field.
Right. They might actually need to throw to their best wideout this game, not hit Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson in the end zone.
Right. But I mean, again, at 30 points in the middle of the second quarter, it's this game's over already. It's over already. I don't know. I can't start Pollard or Ford over Olave. I can't do it. I'm going Olave.
Yeah, in this case, I'll go Olave as well. Amon-Ra, of course, no doubt. Godwin, keep in there. I mean, yeah, flex Olave. Chris Laborde, what is up? Would you trade Mason to get Walker?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're getting a set and forget running back every week of the season for a guy that's only going to have value until Christian McCaffrey. I think the only way you regret this is if somehow Christian McCaffrey misses the whole season or he comes back and does suffer a serious injury. Other than that, I think this is a big win. Big win.
And even then, I have to have the mindset where, look, let's say CMC is out the rest of the season. Jordan Mason is not CMC. And so if I can get a running back who I feel will still score as many, if not more points than Mason, I think Kenneth Walker is one of them. I would
Yes.
still definitely do this. So yeah, this is a great, possibly a fleece. I don't know. It's too early to declare a fleece yet, but this could become one. Charles Berger, pick 2 PPR, Henry Walker, Mason, or kick Michael Pittman out of the flex and go with what, all 3 of them?
Well, I will say,
Yeah, maybe
I might. If CMC is out, I might. Because I'm not expecting. Like, I think Pittman will certainly be better, but I don't know if this Packers offense with Malik Willis, I guess, is going to really force the Colts to throw the ball a lot again. I think this could be another low volume passing week. So, and Henry will be better this week because they're not going to drop back 57 times like they did. I know Harbaugh came out and said we don't view him as a 30 carry guy, but did anybody think Derrick Henry was getting 30 touches? I could see him getting 20 in this game.
Yeah, I don't feel a big Pittman week. I think I would go with all 3 running backs as well. I think that's fine. All right. Carl Williams. Would you go with Brandon Cooks or Hollywood over DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Connor, or London?
No, I don't think I can bench any of those guys for Cooks or Hollywood. I mean, maybe I could do Hollywood over Harrison if he plays, just because it's like, fine, let me see that they're actually going to get this guy the ball. But it's not like Hollywood is a sure thing. It's not like, so even that feels risky.
Yeah, I don't mind Cooks this week, but I don't need to do either of these guys over those 4. Probably stick with what you got. Darren Cheese got offered B-Rob and Dobbins or Puka and Javante. Is that enough?
I don't think so. I like Brian Robinson. Maybe Dobbins will be good this year. Maybe you'll like this trade for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, however long Puka's out. But I think when Puka comes back, you're gonna regret this trade.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. That's not enough. Maybe I'm just not sold on Dobbins yet. Let's see. Let's see what happens this week. No, I want more back for Puka. Bobby Brook, welcome again. Please rate any possible trades. All right, so this is Kyler, Rogers, Bijan, Cook, Mason, Javante, Wright, Garrett Wilson, Flowers, McLaurin, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, J-Mo, and McBride.
All right, so rate it. Bijan, Cook. I'm gonna say Javante because we don't know Mason. So, like, we don't know how many games you're gonna get out of Mason, but Bijan, Cook, Mason, Javante. Running back's good. Garrett Wilson, Flowers, McLaurin, Reed. Wow. This wide receiver room looked great before week 1.
Sure did.
Now you got Reed with Malik Willis. You got McLaurin with Daniels. You got Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers. I still believe in them, though. They're fine. You got McBride. You got Kyler. It's a 12-teamer. It's PPR. It's 8.
Yeah, I mean, I like your 2 running backs. Plus, you got Mason now, at least for a week or 2. That's good. I think you're still solid at receiver. It'll be much better once Love comes back. McBride, I like this one quite a bit. I'll say it's a 8.25. And look, Bobby, I know you're a Packers fan, but you don't need Aaron Rodgers there. If you got Kyler, you can let him go, pick up another flyer at running back. You got Jalen Wright. You're always making moves. You can do this.
I mean, would you even want to start Aaron Rodgers right now?
No, I know I wouldn't. No upside, really. All right. That's Bobby from across the pond. And then we got someone from Vancouver, Tag. All right. Looks like you're it. Stafford or Mayfield?
I think you got to go Mayfield. I do really like Stafford, but I think you got to go Mayfield.
Well, I Just today maybe it was yesterday. I just dropped Stafford to pick up Mayfield, so that tells you what you need to know. Again, this is the league where I have Joe Burrow, so I'm going Mayfield.
By the way, how was Vancouver? I visited Vancouver like, oh gosh, I'm old. Over like 20 years ago, and I loved it. How is it these days? Let me know.
Yeah, you're like right next door, aren't you? Like,
you're practically connected. I wouldn't go quite that far.
California, Canada. All right. All right. So Juice.
You're gonna ignore Oregon and Washington, pretend like they don't even exist.
Yeah, I mean, come on. 14-teamer. Kyler, Gibbs, Ford, MHJ, Kirk, Parkinson, Mason at the flex, Hollywood, Dortch, Gus, CMC, McConkey, Wicks, and Javante. Okay, so he was offered Brian Thomas Jr. for Jerome Ford. Do you take that?
So you got Gibbs. If you don't have Ford, you have Gibbs, the Mason CMC combo, Gus and Javante. And your wide receivers will be Harrison, Kirk, Hollywood, Dortch. I mean, yeah, you need wide receiver help. Yeah, I think I probably take that. I think wide receiver. I think Brian Thomas helps your team more than Ford because you do have the Mason CMC combo, so you do have that. Like at least if CMC's out, you can roll with Mason. I think I take Brian Thomas Jr. Even though I do like Ford, but I think this team needs wide receiver help.
Agree. Thomas looked really good in week 1. He showed me enough. Yeah, I think you can do this because you probably could use a little more upside at receiver. Wicks, we'll see if he has any value at all. Dortch probably won't. So, yeah, you can do that. Full Venom Jacket. Good evening.
Good evening.
12-team, half PPR. Who to flex? Dobbins, B-Rob, Brian Thomas, Watson, or Shaheed?
I'm going Brian Robinson this week. I think he's going to have a big game against the Giants. It's half PPR. He's got touchdown upside. I'm going B-Rob.
I'm big on B-Rob. You'll find out very soon when that video drops. But yeah, I'll go B-Rob too. Matthew Lopez. 2 running back, 2 receiver, 2 flex. DJ Moore, Marv, Godwin, Gibbs, Connor, Mason, Ford. Also has T and Javante Williams. Okay, so the 2 running backs should be.
I mean, I like Connor, but I think if CMC's out, I still got to go Mason. Gibbs and Mason or Gibbs and Connor. Although there's 2 flex, you might play both of them. Let's see. Yeah, 2 wide receivers are going to be.
Go ahead.
Yeah, DJ Moore and Godwin at the flex. At the wide receiver. You're definitely going to flex one of those running backs. Again, assuming CMC is out. And then I'm just gonna flex Ford over Marvin Harrison. Let me see a concerted effort to get this guy the ball. Ford is going to get touches. Ford is going to catch passes. No, he doesn't have like a monster ceiling, but he's got a nice, safe floor. So just give me Ford as my second flex. And if Marvin Harrison goes out there and gets 10 targets and looks great, awesome. Marvin Harrison in my lineup every week, rest of the season, no worries.
Agree. I do want those 3 running backs in. Gibbs, Connor, Mason, Moore, Godwin. Yeah, you're fine with Ford. I mean, if you want to take a shot on Marvin Harrison, I mean, like I said, nothing I heard from Arizona today inspired me to think, oh, this is the week. I mean, he'll catch. I think he'll do something, but maybe not something great. JR Fuentes, re-up in the membership. Appreciate that.
What's up, JR?
And then we got a super chat here from Carson. Carson, 10-man PPR. Got Kyler, got HN, Jacobs, Collins, Rice, Bowers, Flexen, Harrison. On the bench, Daniels, Ford, Kamara, Reed, Chase, Hollywood Brown. I'm hoping is that Chase.
I'm going to assume Chase Brown.
Hoping Chase Brown. I mean,
And
I'm down on the Bengals, but if it's Jamar Chase, I'm still starting Jamar Chase. But anyways, starts it.
yeah, I mean, okay, if Achane is out, I'm putting Kamara in over Achane. And then, like I said, I'm flexing Ford over Harrison. Just give me the double-digit points from Jerome Ford. Don't worry about Marvin Harrison. Now, if Achane plays and like he's not limited or anything, they're like, nope, he's good. He's going to play normal. He's fine. It's not an issue. I'm probably flexing Kamara over Harrison. I know it's the Cowboys, and I don't expect Kamara to be anywhere as good as he was last week, but he gets the touches in that backfield. He catches passes. I'll go Kamara over Harrison.
Yeah, I'm putting Kamara in there as well. But again, you're going to have to really pay attention for tomorrow, see if Achane plays, and if he's going to play, if he's going to be limited, etc. So you might have to put Kamara as your running back and then make that flex decision. So let's do that. Again, I'm really hoping that's Chase Brown on your bench. Probably.
Yes, I'm going to assume so.
All right, now JR does have a question. Got a trade request. Would get Cup for Ayuk and Connor.
This is so hard right now. This is so hard right now because for however many games Puka misses, Cup is going to be a monster. Well, for how many games Puka misses and Cup stays healthy, he's going to be a monster.
Right.
But if Puka comes back, let's say in week 7, and now Cup is just good. Like, Cup isn't going to be terrible because Puka's back. He'll still be good. But if Cup is just good, and Ayuk is doing Ayuk things, and Connor is still the workhorse, are you going to look back and be like, man, I wish I had those guys? I don't know. I think I'm taking Ayuk. So hard because Cup is going to be a monster. He just is. I don't know. Maybe I'll just gamble on the guy that's going to be a monster right now and take Cup.
Yeah, I think to some extent this might matter. Like for you right now, JR, is Connor your RB2, and then your RBs are just kind of like backup RBs? Or is Connor maybe interchangeable with another running back? You know what I mean? Like he's your second or third running back. So just depending on your running back room, if Connor isn't like whoever you have after Connor wouldn't be a big drop off, then sure, do it. Obviously, there's risk. I think you know that if you're getting Cooper Kupp, guy like that. But which, by the way, I didn't say this, but because we don't assume the worst. But look, another great reason to get a guy like Demarcus Robinson is we know Puka's out several weeks, like for sure, with possibility to miss more. Cooper Kupp goes down. Demarcus Robinson is going to be, a target magnet somehow. All right, Ryan, offering Mason and Puka to the CMC owner for Nico Collins. Mason and Puka for Nico. I feel like it's too much.
Too much. Not Puka. Mason and I don't know. I mean, well, here's the thing. If you offer me Mason and it's for Nico, so okay, Mason and I don't know. DK Metcalf? I don't know if anybody's taking that, honestly. Who's like a fair wide receiver for Nico right now? Mason and
a Debo. Well, no, maybe not Debo for this situation. Zay Flowers, Pittman.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, Rashee Rice. Maybe DJ Moore. I don't know. Somebody like that.
I think it's too much. Yeah. All right. Eric Chavarella. Cut Palmer for Cooks. That's fine. Was Lazard a better choice?
Nah. Give me the wide receiver 2 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm not in on Alan Lazard. Like I did add him in one league just because I had someone to cut. But come on. We've seen enough of Alan Lazard. I think we know what he is.
I put a bid in on Alan Lazard in our PPR league, and I got severely outbid.
You're probably okay with that.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Just have him. Take it. All right. Surge was up again. Flex 1. DK or Tank?
I go Tank this week. I got Tank on the booms. I really like Tank. Tank could have had a huge game in week 1. I think he has a huge game this week. DK, not a good spot for him. I'm going Tank.
I'm going Tank as well, even though I was getting really high on DK in the Seahawks and draft season. There will be better times ahead. I don't think it's this week. Go Tank. And then Kevbo. This might be the rare opportunity for you to go D-Hop, because the other options, Hopkins, Xavier Leggett, Jalen McMillan.
These are our choices.
Dude, I don't. I'm looking if maybe there's another comment.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. I'm going Xavier Leggett.
I don't believe it. Really? Xavier Leggett.
Leggett had 118 air yards, 38% air yard share last week, 7 targets.
They get targeted.
They get the Chargers, who gave up the 8th most receiving yards last week of any team in the league, to the mighty Raiders and Gardner Minshew. Look, Leggett could bust. He's got Bryce Young. But 118 air yards, on one play, he could outscore DeAndre Hopkins. I'm just going to gamble on Leggett here.
Well, I am also going to go with a rookie receiver. Just a different one. I'm going McMillan because, again, I'm big on Baker this week. Great matchup for him, and there should be a lot of points on the board. He scored a touchdown last week. Should have had another if it wasn't interfered with. He's looked good all through the preseason. He looked good in week 1. I think he's legit. So I'm going to go with clearly the guy on the better offense, but also he's got a really good matchup as well. Now, I do know Leggett's probably going to be in for more targets. So I will admit McMillan maybe a little more touchdown / big play dependent, but I just feel like the ceiling is higher. But one thing is clear. Neither of us are in on D-Hop. That's pretty obvious.
Come on. He's not even healthy. He's old and not even healthy.
And don't they play the Jets? I think the Titans play the Jets. Yeah. Yes. No. All right. Not in on D-Hop. I am definitely in always Shrek 2 on DVD. Need to flex. And a super flex, chance to pick another Panther. Bryce Young, Bo Nix, Mason, Singletary, Spears, Wright, Sharp, Downs. I don't think Downs is playing.
Yeah, I don't know if Downs is even going to be back. The good news is you're probably going to be able to flex Jordan Mason and feel very good about it. The bad news is you still need a super flex. I cannot start Bo Nix against the Steelers. That has disaster waiting. I mean, this could be like a 6-sack, 3 turnover game for Bo Nix. Spears, no. Wright, no. Sharps, no. Downs, no. I'm actually debating between Devin Singletary and Bryce Young, only because Devin Singletary gets the Commanders.
True.
And look, Devin Singletary, okay, like he only had 10 carries because, of course, they were getting blown out by Sam Darnold and the Vikings. But he caught 4 passes. He got pretty much, like, hardly any, like, Eric Gray got 2 carries, and I think Tyrone Tracy got 2 carries. It's his backfield. If nothing else, the Giants should at least be close in this one. I might just take Devin Singletary over Bryce Young.
Well, can't really argue against that. I mean, how good do we feel about Bryce Young, honestly? I mean, Mason's your flex, your super flex. Bryce Young, because the Panthers. Yeah, that's fine. Go Singletary. All right. So Anthony has a question. Would you use a very valuable bench spot for Kamani Vidal?
I mean, how valuable are we talking here?
I mean, if it's very valuable, then no, because it'll be a while before. I mean, if Dobbins is actually healthy and running the way he is, no, Vidal's not going to see the field. You got 2 running backs there, so if it's valuable, no.
Yeah.
Bullman is always valuable. 10-man full PPR. Anthony Richardson, Saquon, AK, JJ, Cup, Ingram, and Devin Singletary is at the flex. There you go. On the bench is Adunze, Jameson, Gus, Madison, Hollywood. Would you start JMO or flex him over Singletary?
I know I just talked up Devin Singletary, but at the same time, he's still Devin Singletary of the New York Giants. Give me Jameson Williams. Like, I don't think Jameson Williams is going to do what he did last week. In fact, it's probably going to be a game where Amon-Ra St. Brown has like 10 catches, but he still has more upside than Devin Singletary.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go Jameson Williams here. All right. So Kev Bo with another one. Another question involving Xavier Leggett and DeAndre Hopkins, but there's more now. Hopkins, Leggett, Marshawn Lloyd, McMillan, Polk, or A.D. Mitchell. Who are you picking up? I'm guessing your answer is Xavier Leggett.
No.
Another curveball. All right. So who do you got?
I think I might pick up A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell had a very good, terrible first week. Like, sure, the results were not there, but man, he looked good. I think he was like the highest graded rookie wide receiver. A couple near misses with Anthony Richardson. I think Mitchell's gonna be good this year. I really do. So Leggett's still stuck with Bryce Young. McMillan, sure, he'll have his moments, but he's still behind Godwin and Evans. I'm actually taking out of all these guys here, I'm taking A.D. Mitchell to pick up off waiver wire. Not to start this week, to pick up off waiver wire, because I think he'll be better long term.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you need somebody to stream this week as a flex, I would go McMillan. But if you're just looking for an upside stash, then I would go Mitchell. Yeah. Now, I will say also in week 2, who knows? Well, okay, maybe a couple of weeks. I might start looking at Lloyd as a stash once he's healthy and good to go. But yeah. All right, and then we got Dustin Forsberg, Purdy or Mayfield.
I mean, Purdy will certainly be better this week. It's the Vikings, but still, Mayfield against the Lions, that secondary did not look any better. I think I got to go Mayfield.
I'm going Mayfield. Still weird to say that, but I'm going with Baker. And then DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, or Jameson Williams.
Call me a sucker. I'm going Amari Cooper. I feel like he's going to bounce back this week. I'm going Cooper.
Yeah, for me here, Jameson falls to the 3rd spot. So it's between DJ Moore, Amari Cooper. Do we know? I guess it's obviously too early to really know, but Keenan Allen, like, what's his status? Does it sound like he's going to be good to go or no?
He didn't practice today, but of course it's only Wednesday. But he didn't practice today, so we'll see.
I mean, I'd have to say if both Keenan and Odunze are out, I think I would have to go DJ Moore. If not, then probably swing for the upside of Cooper. Kevin Saucedo traded. It's a big one. Adams, JT, and Andrews for Gibbs, Rice, and Bowers.
I think you'll like this trade. I still like JT, but I think you're going to like Gibbs more. Again, I really don't think people realized how much better Gibbs's usage was in that game than David Montgomery, except for the overtime. And Dan Campbell said after the game, the plan was not to ride David Montgomery in overtime. They just gave him the first carry. He ripped off a 26-yard run, and they said, hey, let's just keep going with it. And the Rams defense is like, oh, we're done. Gibbs got the goal line carries, not in overtime, of course, but in the game when they got near their goal line, it wasn't Monty, it was Gibbs twice. I really think Gibbs is gonna just blow Monty out of the water, so I think I still like him over JT. I prefer Rice to Adams. I wasn't on Adams, and I'm still not on Adams. I probably still prefer Andrews to Bowers, but Bowers is good enough. So give me the Gibbs, Rice, Bowers side.
I mean, I feel Gibbs JT is pretty comparable. I don't think there's a clear win on either side there. Rice Adams also pretty close. And then at tight end, I don't know. This is pretty fair. I mean, trading the same positions, guys who were drafted very similarly. I think it might come down to what Bowers does if he winds up being more valuable than Andrews down the stretch, which he could be. I mean, you're trading one Raider for another. I don't know. This one's pretty even to me. I don't know that anybody is a clear winner right now. And then so you got Bijan Cup London on the bench. You got KW on the bench. Dak Baker, Najee Mason, Chubb. Yeah, I mean, you got a really good team. So, yeah, I think it's fine. Yitz Bucks. This is from the earlier one, I'm guessing?
I guess so. We forgot to start. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay. We're going to rewind. So hang tight, Yitz Bucks. We are also still moving forward. So again, any super chats that were already sent in the past about half hour, we're getting there. Hang tight. This is also a good time to just remind you once again, not only about Underdog, you should already know about that, but also the app DraftLane. If you got questions, in fact, while we're on here, already seeing we got some more requests coming in. If you want to get your questions answered as far as any of these things, waiver wire, trade, rate my team, start sit, all of that. We can do all that on the app as well. It's free. Just download it, go to draftlane.com, and you can see more about it, and it'll take you to those links. Click on the download button. Just go to the App Store, and you can find it there too. So just want to make sure everybody is aware. Got great feedback from it. So thank you guys not only for trying it out, but for saying good things about it. And, of course, big shout-out to Ali, developer, for creating this app. So just want to let y'all know. Okay. Yitz Bucks, hang tight.
I'm still looking.
Yeah, I think it was way back. I kind of remember it because that's a
you know what name. It is? He hit a different name. Yitzy Bucksbaum.
Aha. Trying to trick us. Okay. Might as well put it for short. Okay, so we need to start to. Well, I thought we did that. Okay,
I thought we did, but we'll do it again. If Achane plays and they're like, nah, he's good, no limitations, then yeah, go Jacobs Achane. Otherwise, go Jacobs Brian Robinson. At wide receiver, 2 wide receivers, I'm going Tyreek, Godwin, and then I'm flexing Dell.
That's exactly what I'm doing. So again, right now, keep Achane in your lineup because it sounds like he might play, but be prepared. Now, I don't think McDaniel, although he did coach at San Francisco, might pull some shenanigans, but he's not quite like that. All right, Moylan.
McDan lies?
McDaniel lies? Ooh.
McDan lies?
That could work.
Like, he's good, and then he doesn't play a single snap.
Let's hope not. Royland wants to know, would you rather stash Bucky or Benson?
I think right now it's got to be Bucky. I think it would not shock me one bit if Bucky Irving had more carries than Rachaad White this week. So I think Bucky Irving is the guy I want to stash right now.
Yeah, because it's not just about who did more in week 1. It's also the fact that right now Benson is staring at James Conner still being a workhorse and looking really good. I know he didn't look great in week 1. I think he'll look great in week 2. But anyways, it's a longer path for Benson. So Bucky. Choo-choo. 10-team PPR. Starts it. Any trades. Fields and Bake Show. That's a good one. JJ, Wilson, Cup, Waddle, Worthy. That's pretty good. Coleman. Mixon, Mondre, Cook, Pollard, and then Ingram at tight ends. pretty solid.
All right. Well, I start Baker. I don't know how many we're starting here. I'm going to assume 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, and a flex. This team is ridiculous. Jefferson and Kupp, a wide receiver. Mixon and Cook at running back. My gosh, you have to bench some of these guys. Jets get Titans. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed. What's that?
I gotta go Wilson over Waddle, just in general. But yeah, Titans defense is okay, but yeah.
I think you're too worried about your Dolphins this week.
I am.
It's fine. Go Wilson. It's fine. I don't know. I might go Waddle. I did not like what I saw from Aaron Rodgers. Man, the fact that you got to bench some of these guys, but yeah. I don't think you need to make any trades. Your team is stacked.
No. There's no need to trade here. You're for even for a 10-teamer. This is like a 9. This is, I mean, obviously quarterback, right? You're streaming Baker, which look, not just this week, but I said it too, for the next, I think 3 weeks, he's totally fine at startable. So
yeah,
just go with the Bake Show. Edward Nolasco. Should I start Terry or Kenneth Walker?
Kenneth Walker. I feel good about Kenneth Walker. Let's see this Commanders offense diversify a bit. And what I mean by diversify is not like target a bunch of dudes. I mean like not just be so one-dimensional where it's like first read or pull it down. Like let's see them get confidence in Jaden Daniels going through his progressions and calling different plays before we start Terry.
Exactly. This is definitely Kenneth Walker. And one thing, a little disappointed in the aerial attack from Seattle, but as a Kenneth Walker fan, pretty happy to see how much they ran the ball. So they should be able to run the ball for sure this week. Definitely Walker here. Carl, I feel like Carl basically is never not negotiating a trade. Like he's like always something. Either that or he's in 10 leagues. Got offered Curtis Samuel and T. Higgins for Mason and Mike Williams.
Yeah, okay. I can't not take T. Higgins for Jordan Mason.
Right.
Mike Williams and Curtis Samuel. I mean, they don't even count. This is Mason for T. Higgins. I still got to bank on T. Higgins. Like he's not going to miss the whole season. And Jordan Mason is only going to be good for however many games CMC misses. I got to take T. Higgins side here.
Yeah, I would take T. Higgins here because Mason might have a big game in week 2, and Higgins probably won't play in week 2. But from week 3 on, you're going to prefer Higgins, probably. Yeah. If you're getting the Higgins side, go for it. Ruben, Purdy, or Baker?
Baker. Didn't we just have this question? I do like Purdy this week. I think he'll be better, but Baker against the Lions doesn't worry me.
Yeah, I'm still going Baker here. Purdy's fine, but go Baker upside. By the way, Carl saying, would you rather have, instead of Curtis Samuel, would you take Jalen Wright as somebody who has Mostert?
Yeah, even with or without Mostert, I'd rather just have Jalen Wright on my bench.
Agree on that. All right, let's get to John M., newly minted member from the YouTube membership. Update on a potential trade. So here's another Higgins trade. Olave for B. Robin Higgins.
No, I'm taking Olave here. I don't want to deal with the T. Higgins hassle. And like Brian Robinson is good, but I don't think he's enough for Olave.
He's saying he already has CD and Tyreek, and he needs running backs because he's got Mostert and Connor, and my RBs all this Mostert and Connor and bums.
Well, I mean, if you're desperate at running back, but get a wide receiver that's actually playing football right now.
Right.
Like if you want to do Brian Robinson and a wide receiver, get a wide receiver that's actually going to play.
Yeah, he's saying he's gonna have to start like Chase Brown this week. So I mean, you don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
again, I'm fine. Or if you want to get Brian Robinson, trade a wide receiver that's not as good as Olave for Brian Robinson, and don't even ask for T Higgins. Just be like, hey, I'll give you a different wide receiver for Brian Robinson, and you can keep Higgins.
Right. Or if you could swap out Higgins, I guess you're buying low on Higgins. Maybe if you're into that sort of thing, you could do a variation of the trade. Maybe mix it up. All right. Let's go to Ethan. All block, 10-man PPR. Would you trade Adams for London? I know you would.
Yeah, probably. I'd rather gamble on Kirk Cousins and the offense getting better. What's the hope? Even if it's not Cousins, maybe they'll go to Michael Penix Jr. and he's better. Like, what's the hope for Adams that it's Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah.
Give me London.
Yeah, give me London. I'm not out on Adams, but I was higher on London anyway. So yeah, go London. Chris KD, what is up? Walker is questionable. Yeah, he did pop up today on the report, but I don't think it's going to keep him out.
No, I don't. Right? It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you have to, but look, you're talking about Jeff Wilson, Jalen Wright. You would have to start those guys tomorrow. I'm not doing that. No, keep Walker in there. If something happens, you have to pivot. I mean, it's not the worst thing. You can throw Moss in your lineup, I guess.
Right.
Okay. And then we're getting there. We're almost caught up. Super chat. Next is Manny.
Yes. I didn't even know you could do that.
How do you get that? Oh, I'm not going to ask.
Yeah.
Jacoby and Diggs for Harrison and McConkey.
Oh, do we want the old crusty vets or the young, shiny new toys who haven't done a whole lot yet? Oh, give me the rookies. Give me the rookies.
Yep.
Give me the rookies.
I'll
gamble on Harrison getting significantly better. I'll gamble on McConkey being good enough. Give me the rookies.
I mean, I know pretty soon we're going to have to just not say, well, you know, draft rankings and preseason, it won't matter. But look, it's been 1 week. But Harrison is a borderline first-round pick, potential wide receiver 1, and we both were lower on Diggs than consensus, right? He's not. I don't think nobody should consider him still a number 1 receiver for fantasy. I know he got 2 touchdowns. He's not going to catch 2 touchdowns this week. So I think you've got to still think Harrison is going to be better than Diggs. And McConkey, Jacoby might be pretty even. So go Harrison side. And then Manny does have this question, which I think we know the answer to. Mayfield or Purdy?
How many of these? What do we got, like 5 of these exact questions tonight? Mayfield.
It's Mayfield. Yep, Purdy's fine. Mayfield has that ceiling. All right. And then let's see. It was not showing. Renzo Lamella. Would you trade Mike Evans for Walker, McLaurin, and Ridley? Wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot. Ridley doesn't. I don't see it happening for Ridley. Terry, maybe it happens for. So now your wide receivers, instead of being Nico and Evans, will be Nico, Terry, and Ridley. And I assume you have some other wide receiver 3. Renzo, I feel like I need to know who your running backs are.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, Walker's clearly startable right away. I mean, I know Evans is the best player in this deal, but I'm in on Walker. I know you're not out on Terry long term just because of week 1, right?
No, definitely not. But I still think, yeah, like you said, like Evans is the best player in this deal. I don't like not getting the best player. And now you're going from Evans to Terry, which could be good long term. Might be a struggle here early, but it could be good long term. Again, I think it would depend on what my running backs look like. Like if my running backs are terrible, then maybe I do this deal. But if my running backs are good enough, I don't really want to take the potential hit at wide receiver.
And it might matter also how deep this league is. Like if this is an 8-teamer, yeah, probably not, because McLaurin Ridley might not really ever play for you much. But if this is like a 12-teamer, I think I do. Oh, well, here you go. CMC and Aaron Jones. So you don't really need Walker.
Right. I know right now you feel like you need Walker because CMC isn't playing, but
well, that's true. That's true.
But the thing is, if CMC comes back, now you have you have CMC and Kenneth Walker. That's good. But I mean, again, going from Mike Evans to Terry to me is too big of a drop. I think I'm holding Mike Evans.
What you could do, if we want to do as we do, play chess, not checkers, is take the deal and then maybe you package, let's say, Aaron Jones and a guy, whatever, about like Ridley, Aaron Jones or Ridley, and then you upgrade at receiver that way. Get yourself a really good number 2 receiver. Somebody out there is going to want Aaron Jones just coming off a pretty good game. I don't think anybody's out on Ridley after week 1 because he was okay, at least. He was a top target. And then you got Walker as your number 2 running back, and then you still have Nico, Terry, plus whatever really good receiver you might get. So I like getting the surplus in value with those 3 players, So if you think you could do that, it's a possibility. All right, let's go to Chris. 10-team PPR. Do I trade Waddle and Puka for Garrett Wilson?
No.
It's
too much.
Yeah, I don't think so. Prefer Wilson slightly to Waddle. No, if Puka comes back, you're gonna regret this. Chris KD also wants to know: flex McConkey, BTJ, or Wandale?
Jags get Browns. Denzel Ward. Who's Denzel Ward going to be on? Gabe Davis, maybe? Wandale gets the Commanders, but he's like a floor play, I feel like. McConkey, again, McConkey has the best matchup, but I think I just go with Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, well, one thing you're saying the Chargers do have the best matchup, but I think they're just going to run the ball even more this week because they'll be able to, maybe even more. Yeah, I'd go Thomas. I'm fine with Wandale. Like I said, it's the Commanders, so it's hard not to just take him. But I think Thomas clearly has the highest ceiling out of all these guys. We like to chase ceiling. Dustin Forsberg. If Achane is out, you go Gus, you go Spears, or possibly Jeff Wilson.
If Achane and Mostert are out, I think I'd go Jeff Wilson. I know Edwards gets the Panthers. I know Edwards could score a touchdown or 2, but if Achane and Mostert are out, Jeff Wilson's going to get 15 plus carries and a couple catches probably. So I think if they're both out, I'll go Jeff Wilson.
Well, I think since you are the Achane owner, that might make sense that we have Wilson in your pocket just in case. It's definitely not Spears against the Jets, limited usage. I think Gus will be better, but I think it just makes more sense in your situation to go Wilson. Doug Fenton also got a new member. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Doug?
And then HM is back. HM has a question, and it's down below. It is, so do you consider your matchup in fantasy? You got Tua and JD. Your opponent has both the Dolphins receivers. You go Tua to kind of, cancel them out, or Daniels for upside?
Well, let's just easily squash this because this is something I see a lot of people asking this question, like, right, like, oh, my opponent has, AJ Brown. So, well, I mean, that's a bad example because of course you're playing Jalen Hurts, but like, oh, my opponent has I don't know, Jaden Reed, so I'll start Jordan Love in case he goes off or whatever. Okay, whatever. So last week, Tyreek Hill got 26 PPR points. Jalen Waddle got 16 PPR points. Tua got 18 points. So it doesn't necessarily mean just because the wide receivers go off, you negate it by having the quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, so you just go with the guy who you think is gonna score the most points. And I think, even though I think Tua's safer than Jaden Daniels this week, but Jaden Daniels has way more upside. I know you don't because they're playing the Bills and you just think they're gonna get rolled. But Jaden Daniels has way more upside. You don't benefit anything. Like if Tua throws like he did last week, a 60-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill, it's not like he matches Tyreek.
No. I don't ever even look at my opponent's lineup when I'm setting my lineup.
No, never.
You can't do anything about your opponent's lineup. Your goal is to score the most points. So put the quarterback in who you think will score the most points. And this week, I think I would go Daniels because of the matchup, because he's getting the Giants. And, of course, we just saw him run in 2 touchdowns. He could definitely do that again. And, of course, not completely convinced that Tua will have a big game against Buffalo. So, yeah, it's fine to go Daniels. All right, and one last question, because he said so, Chris KD.
All right.
Somebody dropped Lockett. Worth dropping Mitchell or Watson for Lockett?
I don't think so. Again, I don't know what Lockett's gonna do this year. I still like AD Mitchell long term. I still like Christian Watson when Love is back. I'm not picking up Lockett. He can stay on waivers.
Yeah, I'm definitely not dropping Watson. Got to just hold tight till Love gets back. Mitchell, he's probably not cracking your lineup, but his Lockett, probably not. So, no, it's no hate. It's just, got to be real. Other guys will get involved. DK Metcalf and JSN better actually do something. I mean, come on. Let's get this guy the ball. Lockett is solid. He's fine, but we don't want solid. We want upside. So, you're fine. All right. That was the last question. We are done for now, but we'll be back. So tomorrow you got football, the Dolphins playing, and we'll be here a little bit before kickoff, about 2 hours, to talk about HN, talk about your Dolphins or Bills that you might want to start or sit, reflect on your waivers and see what happened. Of course, a lot of trade questions, everything that you got for us. We'll definitely handle that. And don't forget, before we get out of here, and Doug does have a question. By the way, Doug just got that membership, so let's answer this one. Breece Hall, Wilson, and Rice needs a running back in a flex. Jacobs, Walker, Mason, Achane, Flowers, worthy BTJ.
So Breece Hall, Wilson, and Rice is so you need one running back in a flex out of this group. In this case, I probably won't even risk it with Achane. Right. Mason at running back if CMC is out. Otherwise, I mean, Jacobs, Walker, I guess Walker and Flowers, or else Mason and Walker. Mason and Flowers, man, there's a lot of good choices.
There's a lot of running backs there. I think you don't have to worry about Achane and risk it with Jacobs. Yeah. Go Walker or Mason. I mean, both are good. And then, I want to flex Flowers. I like Flowers. All right. Thank you for that, Doug. So don't forget, Underdog, you still have time also. Take advantage of that special. And remember, if you already got an account there, don't forget, CeeDee Lamb, get that free pick. Just go higher than 0.5 yards. And if you are new to Underdog, if you're about to go sign up right now, which I highly recommend if you haven't already, go get this free pick, Josh Allen getting 1 yard. Just make sure you use code ENDGAME to get those specials plus your deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash So check it out if you haven't already. I'm going to go make my picks right now. We'll see you
Nice.
guys tomorrow. Again, if you don't know yet when we go live, hit the notification bell. That'll alert you as soon as we're on. Well, we'll see you about 2 hours before the game Thursday night.